5 Canadian teams in the playoffs. Which one is going to bring Stanley back home to Canada? Everybody, welcome to the playoffs. Hello and welcome back to The House That Happens, sponsored by Shoey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number 1 in our hearts. The Phoenix rising from the ashes. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz.
How we doing, Cruz?
I was just thinking of what if we fooled the people because we are back in Cruz's chaos. I fired the maid again. Just see a day and look around. I had
always problems with the maid.
The maid, she's just brutal. I had to get rid of her. Told her to get a haircut too, but him told him to get a haircut.
Smoking your weed, drinking your beer.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Knocking over the dog's food, all kinds of silly stuff like that. What are you gonna do? But in any event, hope everybody had a great Good Friday. This is a very solemn weekend.
Until tomorrow.
What's that?
Until tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is the new beginning.
Yes, it is.
That's and yesterday was a day about 9 Inch Nails, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Not the artist.
Whatever. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It was about accountability, you know. And God bless Jesus for being accountable for all of our sins. Isn't that how it works?
Sure. My mom wishes you and your family a very happy Easter.
And what do you say that? Yes, and the same to you. And shout out to Stephen and your sister Alexandria, right?
Alexandria, yeah.
Alexandria. To the whole family. You guys will have a great time. It is a time for rebirth, relove, and refun. But you know what? This is how things work weird, and I'll tell you really. You know, I was just talking about algorithm. Just reminded me. I was playing some music yesterday. I think it was Mahavishnu, and it ended. I said where it was going to go. Frank Zappa came on, and you know what the name of the song was? Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk. I just went, wow, on Good Friday.
What are the chances?
What are the chances? Walking around, you know how the algorithm just kicks into something, and I'm being the Frank Zappa, and I just went, looked over my shoulder for a minute, you know what I mean, to make sure nothing was going on. Bolt of lightning wasn't coming from the sky. It was just kind of surreal for that to happen on Good Friday. But hope everybody had a good time, or at least practiced your faith. If that makes you stronger, it's even better.
Oh, and if nothing else, enjoyed the long weekend. But speaking
100%.
of this weekend of rebirth, it's a new beginning for the WNBA. They had their draft this week. Paige Beckers went number 1 over there, and no surprise there, from UConn to the Dallas Wings. So big congratulations to them.
Great to her. Great to her. And not only that, considering how she came in with the fanfare, the injury she went through, the rehab that she's got, and got the ring for Connecticut, which puts her on their pantheon of greatness. The only thing I'm going to say about the draft was kind of cool. I just want to know, it looked a little different than, well, the guys do it too, but I was wondering, like, there was a lot of designers on draft night, don't you think? I don't know nothing about that, but I just knew some shit was going on with some designers, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. The NBA draft, too, has become kind of famous for that. Like Grady Dick, that red suit he wore, his draft night.
You know what? He keeps that in his back pocket for the rest of his life. It's going to work out well for him, I think, you know. And I never see any of these outfits at Giant Tiger. Just saying.
Yeah, not exactly off the rack.
No.
Keeping in women's sports, I got a couple more here. PWHL will expand to Vancouver this coming fall. And then the rumor is that Seattle will be getting a team the season after. So a couple teams out west.
So that'll be, because they want to keep it an even number anyway, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Vancouver can't have them like the only team on the West Coast. That's just going to be messed for travel.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that along the way. But their first season will probably a little bit...
Yeah, the schedule is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough schedule. They're going to have to, clump the games, have 4 games home, 4 games on the road. Do something like that. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster.
I think it'll probably be 4-4 or 5-5.
Something like that,
because of a back-to-back 3 nights and they're home after 6 days. I don't know how it's going to work. Good luck. And, by the way, which we'll get to in a second, because there should be a surplus of players, maybe a little bit more than I realized, to fill a couple of more expansion teams.
Yes. I mean, well, it's going to be interesting to see in the draft this year, but in the college level for women's hockey, there's a lot of players basically ready to go. Like, they're already playing with their national teams, right?
Well, I was just noticing in the tournament, the other countries that have got some really good players from Europe.
Yes.
I'm not talking about North America. I'm talking about the growth in Europe and the European women players that I've seen that I'm probably going to come across upon and play in the PWHL. It's a matter of time. There's a percentage of them here now, isn't there?
Yeah, I know Toronto has a couple Swedes and a couple Finns on the team. I'm sure there's a smattering around a few of the other teams.
I think that'll increase. Hence the reason I was saying that the gene pool is getting bigger.
Yes.
Is that to say?
Yes.
Good luck, girls.
Also, big shout out to the Northern Super League, which is Canada's women's soccer league. It launched April 16th with Calgary Wild, Halifax Tides, Montreal Roses, Ottawa Rapid, and AFC Toronto, and Vancouver Rise.
I'm saying a big good luck to this league. Big. Without trying to... Okay, cut it off, Cruz. In any event, I think this is a bold endeavor. Do you?
I don't think it's that bold. I mean, Canada, we already have a men's soccer league. Why can't we have a women's soccer league?
How far does a consumer dollar go to spend on entertainment in that part of the year, which is saturated with a number of featured things going on that might rise above a Northern Women's Soccer League? I'm hoping for all the best.
Yes.
Hoping for all the best.
And if nothing else, this is going to be very important for development of
I believe that's the main reason behind it, and I'm also believing...
Same as behind the Canadian Men's Premier League, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But here's what I'm hoping. I believe that wouldn't have got off the ground if it didn't have some kind of sponsorship.
Absolutely.
And I hope the sponsorship is hanging in there long enough to give it that run. Like, the only reason the NBA got this far, excuse me, is because they had the sponsorship of the NBA. You need a backer.
WNBA, you mean?
Yeah, WNBA. Yeah. You know, you need a backer. So, girls, I hope you have the sponsorship to give us, because I don't want to say in 3 years it...
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm optimistic.
Good. I want to be.
Just put a good product out there. Don't charge, obviously, make it affordable for people, and people will come.
People
will come.
Good luck.
I'm looking forward to going out to support AFC Toronto this summer.
The bottom line is, like I was saying, the developmental factor cannot be understated anyway at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what we should be looking at from that level. But we also know, if we look when the TFC is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, Toronto TFC...
That's a little bit different, though, because Toronto FC charges an arm and a leg for their ticket, don't they?
Maybe a little too much.
A little.
A little too much.
Any more shout-outs for you this week?
I just want to thank all the American networks that welcomed the Montreal Canadiens to the playoffs, because they realized the significance of a franchise as great as Montreal Canadiens.
Well, and a lot of them have actually just been shouting out just the Canadian teams in general.
Which is great.
Yes.
Which is great.
PTI especially, they're saying like Toronto, Montreal, they gave big shout-outs to them.
Oh, yeah. There was McAfee, guys on the morning, because I got a bit of it, the Get Up guys, which I rarely get to see, but it was really cool. Everybody's shouting out, and the Habs will meet the playoffs. Like, it's surprising, people. You were surprised? We're here now. Get ready, but we'll talk about that very, very, very soon.
Very soon. Also, a big shout out for the NFL draft this week. So get ready for another pounding of NFL news coming right in your face. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't made his decision, but that's a little off topic there.
No, that could be a shout out. Hold on. Okay, but I'm just saying this whole draft thing is a crapshoot. Peter Schrager has come to ESPN now. And check him out. He's always been on Good Morning Football. He's one of the too bad.
The NFL Network.
Yeah, on the NFL Network. And Good Morning Football is such a great show, but they pillar all the people off. You know what I mean? Like, and they're all doing a little bit better than they were. But Schrager's always had a good take on the NFL draft. And I seen him on his show the other day where he said after the first 4 picks, the next 16 could be in any direction and you could get any value. That's including Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, it's all just based on team need at that point.
Exactly. No, and did you pick the right guy?
Well, that's always the question about the draft.
Oh, yeah, all the time. So we're going to see. But, I mean, the big 4 seems to be Hunter and Cam Ward. You were asking me about it. Do you think he's going to go first?
It looks like he is.
Yeah, well, just because it's Anita, Tennessee. However, I would like to, since we're on the draft and talking football for a second here, I'd like to do a big shout-out to all the schools that backed off on this. I think his name is Nico Imaleva from Tennessee. You know this whole portal thing?
Oh, yeah?
Out of control, bro. Out of control. Did you hear what this guy did? Which is going to be testing his character for a long time. Because here's one of the things they said. Remember we said he didn't have an agent. Was his uncle whispered in his ear? Someone's going to give you $4 million. He went to practice with the team in the spring workouts. Did all this stuff, high-fived his boys, went into the coach and said, I want this.
Is this guy who said he wanted $4 million?
Yeah.
And I did hear about this.
And not only that, he ended up going to UCLA. Word around the campfire didn't get anything close to that. But the bottom line is a lot of colleges, this is what colleges I'm shouting out to you that said, no, buddy. If that's how you're going to play the game, we're not about this. So you know what Pandora's box this opens with a guy doing like this? But the fact that a lot of colleges said when he became available, a lot of colleges turned their back just because of character issue alone. Like, if you had done this before, we get it. The window's open. But you went out for the team. You did all the workouts. You get all the shit together, and you say, fuck you, boys. Oh, that's brutal. Any event, that's why the somebody somewhere somehow, maybe Jesus could come down and solve this problem since it's the Passion Weekend, right? We're going to ask for Jesus to do a lot of things this weekend. Jesus, can you get some rules for the NIL and the
Jesus
border,
is
please?
busy. I mean, the governing body of the NCAA should just pull up their pants and figure this out themselves.
Oh, come on. We got to do it. But in any event, we got issues. You know what I mean?
By the way, a little off topic. Mina Kimes, your girl, was on Jeopardy this week.
She's pretty smart, isn't she?
My mom said she was happy that she lost because she was smug.
That's the problem with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's why I just had to stop listening to her podcast.
Why? Because
our listeners are so smart. And it's like every 2 seconds, like, oh my God, we get it.
Yes, I know.
Get it.
Sometimes I still like her and she's informative, but I see where a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? I remember seeing her on that show. With Dan Lebitard and his dad.
Oh yeah.
That was a great show.
HQ. I used to love HQ.
Oh, me too.
Highly questionable. Yeah.
Yeah, highly questionable, and that's where she really started to get her exposure to, and she is great. But I know about the smug.
Yep. Any more shout-outs?
Yeah, I'd like to do a shout out to Mr. Aaron Rodgers. For coming on the Pat McAfee show and being hey, listen, everybody out there though, he gives more fodder than anybody, right? Come on. All right.
Brett Favre 2.0.
Yeah, but Favre was that kind of guy. You know, let's just get this straight. This is apples and oranges here.
No, but he's milking the retirement thing.
Who's that?
Rodgers.
No, he came on and he said he told everybody, he goes, I'm not jerking anybody off. I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life and I have to take care of it. And I have talked to people about it. But he straight up said, here's the reports. Here's what they said. Here's what happened, people. And if there's anybody out there that wants to defy what I'm saying right now, bring it on. Let's let it go. And that's the most honest we're going to get. And one of the things he was saying, like the bullshit, like Aaron Glenn, you got questions going on with the Jets. He flew all across the country, walked in the room, and I said, "How you doing? How you doing? We're not going in your direction. How what? We're gonna have a talk? No, we're done." And the general manager walked in, it was over, and Rodgers said it was like a 10-minute conversation. And Rodgers, and he had a point. He goes, "I flew across the country on my dime, no problem. Thought you wanted to sit down. Why didn't you just call me?"
Oh, agreed.
You know what I mean? So to have that kind of exposure to the reality of the difference between player, team, business in the NFL, it was I'm glad that Aaron, love him or hate him, I love when he opens the doors for everyone to see. It's like he's the guy at the end, the Wizard of all. Let's pull back the curtain here, please. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Anything else?
Yeah, I got one more little shout out. It's going to be quick and to the point. I just want to shout out to CBC for having the most pathetic coverage of an event that's going to be one of the most important in the history of my life. That's all.
Okay, and that's just Cruz's opinion. But we will keep this moving into the world of the Masters, where Rory McIlroy finally got it done, winning his first Masters, his first green jacket in history in a playoff over Justin Rose. Rory, first day on Thursday, he was par. Had a brilliant Friday, Saturday, -6 each day, was a +1 on Sunday. And Rose, basically a tremendous Friday and Sunday, although... tremendous Thursday and Sunday, rather. Friday and really his Saturday really killed it for him there, +3. But obviously great to see Rory. It was a roller coaster ride the whole way through on Sunday there. Bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie. But our boy finally got it done.
Listen, I'm glad that you got to watch it, okay? Because like I was saying, I've heard a number of people that said, I've only watched the Masters this many times. I've only watched the Masters that many times. You know me. I'm the golf junkie. I'm telling you, I don't think I missed a hole. What is it, 72 holes? I've probably seen all 72 holes of all the golfers. The drama was high-end, next level, basically due to the fact that Bryson DeChambeau came out of nowhere in the third round to get in the final pairing with Rory, and we know what happened last year at Pinehurst.
Yeah.
So the drama was set high. I'm kind of glad that DeChambeau was a train wreck.
Oh, on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, complete train wreck because the mad scientist wasn't alchemizing very good on that day, and he would have basically left the leaderboard. It wasn't for the fact that he was
fair, a lot of people had tough days on Sunday. Really, Rose was the only guy with a brilliant day.
And The bottom line was somewhere the pin locations and the wind. Okay, we know that. The bottom line is that, as I've heard, and you just pointed out so many times, especially the shot on 13, the shot on 15, to see the same golfer make a shot that you can't believe. Did he just do that? And then the next shot, you go, whoa, did you just see what he did? All in, especially on the back nine, is off the charts. You know what I mean? And kudos to Justin Rose for sinking the putt on the 18 to give himself the opportunity to go to the playoffs, because he's a much maligned guy himself. He's now led 10 rounds of the majors or something. He's led more rounds than anybody, I think, in the history of the tournament or something like this. I don't know. He's got an outrageous record because he started his first Masters, I think he was 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something like that, because he got some kind of exemption, and he also was, I think, runner-up or second and third, check his history, before he was 20 in the British Open. So, and he doesn't have a Masters. No. So if he had ended up winning, it would have been a electrifying exaltation from Mr. Rosie himself too. But it was the fact that people got to remember this. Rory was going for the career slam in golf.
Yes, he's only the 6th golfer to do so, joining Tiger, Nicklaus, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, and Gene Sarazen.
Okay, and here's the next factor. Those guys took 1 to 3 shots at it to get their Grand Slam. What was this? This was...
Try like what, 13, 14?
11. I think it's 10 or 11 shots. And always having the disappointments that we've seen Rory have in the last 10 years.
Insane.
You know what I mean? And not only that, remembering it when he was the 4-stroke lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, at the 9th? I think it was at the 9th.
Something like that.
Yeah, at Amen Corner, he was 4 strokes ahead. Lost the tournament.
But the thing is here, too, like, I thought, like, right away, like, he makes that double bogey on one, you're like, oh, no, here we go again. But then birdies 3 and 4, you're like, okay, he's back.
Yep.
But then it was like, he birdied a couple more, then it was like another double bogey. You're like, oh, come on, man.
No kidding. The one that when he went in the water there, that was the one that killed me. The 15th, 13th, I forget, whatever one it was.
Yeah, it was like, it was the back nine.
And you know what? The odds of him doing that are like 1 in 1,000. So he shouldn't have bought a lottery ticket on that hole, that's for sure. But that's the accomplishment there to get the look at 6
it was 13,
guys.
I believe, that he got in the water because that was another double bogey.
30. Okay, yeah.
But 2 double bogeys, 6 birdies, and 3 bogeys on the day. Insane.
No.
Just a crazy up and down day.
And he will now go down in history as the only Masters champion to have 4 double bogeys and win.
Wow.
Yeah, and Masters.
And he birdied the playoff hole in which he bogeyed before too.
Previously, and on the day before, on the Saturday, he started off with birdie eagle, wasn't it, or birdie or something like that? Yeah, on the first 2 holes, which is pretty crazy unto itself. Anyways, I'm just saying, like, what we witnessed when he won the Masters is the most genuine feeling of victory for an individual could possibly have to show everything that they've got in front of the whole world. I thought it was amazing. We're going to be seeing those images, for the rest of our lives?
Oh, basically.
You know what I mean? And it was just, it was cathartic. I mean, I could feel it through the screen, seeing because I watched all those Rory times when he didn't get it done. You know what I mean? But and he was very graceful when he got off there. One of the things I was talking about off the air was when I had said something last year about him losing and coming to when you come to the microphone and when you don't. Bottom line is, when you're on that level of competition and you're going for something of that great, you got to say to yourself, how would you feel? How would you react? I don't know. I'll never be there. It's a little bit different because I think what we've seen the last couple of weeks, what were amazing. 2 great things that happened. Ovi breaking the Gretzky record and Rory getting the career slam. And look at how they both reacted. Now, it's completely different, Ovi, in context of him being a team. And he got to do the dive and the celebration. But it was still pretty intense and it was still pretty freaking cool. And just think, I'm glad in my lifetime I got to see both of them in a span of, 2 weeks?
Yeah, a week.
Amazing. Oh, yeah, a week.
Sunday to Sunday.
So anyways, it just, now people, if you didn't get to see this, I wish you did. And 19 million 19 million people had their eyes on the Masters by the back nine.
Wow.
19 million people.
Including ourselves.
Yes, it was.
Now, the big question is does this open the floodgates for Rory? Because the PGA Championship is at Quail Hollow, a course that he's won 4 times.
Yep.
The U.S. Open is at Oakmont Country Club, which is a course that rewards driving, which is obviously Rory's strength.
Yep.
And the British Open is going to be at Royal Portrush, which is the course that Rory set the course record when he was 16 years old.
Yes. And you know what? Here's the amazing thing. And I like the astute golf people have already said this. I know it's only April, but if you said going into 2025, you could get 2 victories, and your 2 victories were the Players
and the Masters.
And didn't he win Pebble too? This is his 3rd win of the year, I believe.
Did he win Pebble Beach? I got to look that up.
Did he win Pebble too? I'm pretty sure. He's on a roll. You know, he's on a roll. But that's what I'm saying, and nobody's ever done that. Imagine the stature he would grow if he pulled off a calendar slam.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves there.
That's why I'm saying if your season just included winning the Players and winning the Masters, you're already in line for a golfer of the year.
Yeah, so he's got 3 wins this year.
At Pebble too, right?
Trying to find it. Masters, Players, and Pebble Beach.
And
yes.
Pebble Beach. Yeah. Well, that's a season unto itself. You know what I mean?
Well, if he could win 2 majors this year,
I think it's going to be wide open. And sometimes they say your prime is from now until you're 40. A lot of guys win their because you're.
I mean, so much of it is just like I don't want to use the word luck, but just like the circumstances. Like there's a lot of minutia in golf, obviously, right?
Okay, so here's the difference. Okay, DeChambeau said, "Oh, he didn't even talk to me." I said, "Hi, how you doing?" He said, "Hi," and he goes, "What?" I didn't say a word. He didn't say a word to me for the rest of the round. Shut up, DeChambeau. And Rory got up to the mic and said, "Hey, man, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've done a lot of golf in my life. I was pretty damn nervous." He goes, "I knew what was at stake here. I know what everyone was going to say. I knew everybody that was watching. It wasn't about him. It was about me. And I don't want to say it was about me, but it was all about it. It was all about me."
That's what he was thinking about.
Yes, and the response, because as I said, it was great when he put on the green jacket and he walked up to the microphone and he said, "Hey, guys, what are you going to talk about next year?" I thought it was bonus. So big shout out to Rory. I hope he grows his hair back so it looks as crazy as it did when he was younger. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be badass?
Oh, yeah. We'll obviously keep an eye on the world of golf up until the PGA Championship, which is next up on the calendar. But we'll move this to Bahrain and Saudi Arabia for the world of Formula One, where Oscar Piastri, one of your boys' crews, took the win from pole. Russell and Lando completing the podium there. Lando looking a little bit shaky in this one, especially off the start.
Oh, very much.
And in qualifying too. Well, the big one there was his big penalty they took on the grid there, which Verstappen called out right away.
Well, that's cutting hairs, but it's against the rules, isn't it?
Well, that's a big mistake. You shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
No,
but miss it by that much too.
But Lando's also he's not the best starter, is he?
No.
I've seen other shit happen with the guy. This is I'm going to get my question before we get going. This will be our short little theme about F1. Isn't this the greatest team sport ever where you say fuck you to your teammate? Or I don't give a fuck, it's all about me? Wow.
Except if you're in the case of Red Bull and Verstappen, where he's like, fuck, guys, get me a good teammate here for once.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's...
Do you see Tsunoda crashed in practice yesterday?
Yes.
And it was such an avoidable mistake, too. But
and he was looking good. He looked good in this race. He had good pace.
No, I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, though.
What?
That he crashed
yesterday. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, but last week in Bahrain, he looked okay. Better than I expected.
It's okay. Not where he should be, though, with that car. Come on. To complete the grid, Leclerc was 4th, Hamilton 5th. Not a bad result for Ferrari. Verstappen 6th, pulling that. They did not have the pace, obviously, there, but just dragging that car across the finish line. Gasly 7th, a good result for our boy.
Yes, yeah.
Ocon 8th, Tsunoda 9th, and Ollie Behrman continues to impress at number 10.
Yes, and the rookie guys are good. He's a rookie too, isn't he? Behrman?
Yes, he is.
With the guy from Mercedes.
Antonelli.
Yeah. He looks outstanding. For young, like I can't say enough about that.
He's being touted as the next Verstappen.
Oh, he's coming.
And they could be teammates next year.
Wow, wouldn't that be good? So that means George Russell gets kicked to the curb?
He'd probably go to Red Bull. It'd probably be like an unofficial trade, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that. You really think that's going to happen, don't you?
100%.
Yeah?
Toto is horny for Max. Okay. He's going to bring him down to his sex dungeon.
And then say, here you go, man. What do you want? You know, with the grapes.
Toto's definitely got one of those, like, sex dungeons, right? With, like, the leather and all that shit.
I don't know.
Toto's just, I don't know, he just seems like that kind of guy.
I'm not saying he's not. It's his presence that does it for you?
Yeah. If you had a good race, you're allowed to go down to the dungeon.
Yeah, but no, is it that, or is it just the look on his face?
Everything.
You know what I mean? He does have that to him, and we don't want we're not judging the guy. We're just saying if he was an actor, he could play that role. Correct?
So you know how I made you a cartoon? I did one here. This is excellent radio since this is visual, but I did one of him as well.
Oh yeah.
It's right on, eh?
Oh yeah, deadly. That's how it goes.
What do you think? There was like DRS and car tracking issues at the track. What was that about?
I'm not understanding it because some people was connected to changing that shit down the road.
What do you mean?
What are they changing in that race? You can't put something on the back end? I still don't understand that.
Part of me wonders if this is just because like it's a track that's like in the middle of the desert, basically. If like some of the sand got somewhere or something. I don't know. That's my theory.
That's not a bad theory at all because it was very windy, and you're seeing the guys out with the vacuum cleaners a lot.
Yeah.
So that was I never seen vacuum cleaners out quite as much as I had seen there. It's not vacuums, but those things they're putting in. And what's that all about? They're cleaning shit up. What are they cleaning up? Oh, we're in the desert. So it could be there too. Is it the layout too? Didn't they redo the track or something?
No, they didn't redo the track, which is something they were actually praising the track for. Because all these other ones, are like every 5 years they repave it and it kind of changes the minutia. Bahrain, it's great because they kind of just leave it and
let it rock.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have a problem with it. Didn't have a problem with it at all. And this is every race this year is one from pole.
Yep.
Everyone so far. So I guess a pole this week in Saudi Arabia is going to be huge.
Oh, and it's a street circuit too, so there's not going to be too much passing. I don't think there's too many spots there where you're allowed to pass. I want to say there's 2 DRS zones, if I recall.
I'm not
Quality's
sure.
on at 12:30. Looking forward to that.
Every time, like you're right though, and I did rewind a few times on the PVR because I'm not always, like I said, my comprehension for some of this stuff is coming along. But I didn't understand why they got to the DRS zone and then they couldn't use it for some reason, or something didn't click in, or there was a box problem I heard a couple times, and it wasn't just Verstappen; it was a few other guys were having.
Well,
the same
Russell
issue
was having a big one because like he had to do like a DRS, they had to do like a manual override for it, and he almost got in trouble for it, but they let it go. I think because everyone was having problems with it, it would have been a little bit unfair.
Yeah,
and like it didn't give him like a distinct advantage, so I think that's probably the right move.
Is that what he did? Yeah, is that what he was doing?
They had to do like a manual override for the DRS. Yeah,
in his car, right?
I believe so. I believe his engineer was kind of like walking him through the instructions how to do the inputs on the steering wheel, which is insane to do that in real time while you're driving. Driving the car,
oh
300.
My! Shout out to him, and he got a podium.
These drivers are engineers. What they got to pull off.
Listen, I try to tell people now, including you, Zachary Lee, if you're listening to, how many billions of people on the planet and how many guys get in these cars. Whoa! It's insane when you think about it. And an 18-year-old kid is flying around in that Mercedes looking like $1 million. Wow. Glad I'm living in a time where I can see shit like that. You know what I mean? And you know what's really interesting, because I was trying to tell people, this guy is like Gretzky coming in. No, I don't want to say that yet, but this guy's like a phenom coming in. I'm trying to explain it like in the sports that we watch every day. Who would he be? Like that guy that played in the World Cup last year.
Oh, Yamal, the Spanish kid.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, that's a good comparison.
He's gonna, isn't it? He's a guy like that. Like we're 18.
Yep.
God bless him. In any event, I haven't seen everything that's going on. The qualifying should be by the time we do the show is on
12:30.
12:30. Okay.
So Hülkenberg also got disqualified in that race because of excessive plank wear, much like Lewis Hamilton in China. I believe that was the second race.
Yep.
Verstappen, very interesting news here. He can get out of his Red Bull contract if he falls below third in the Drivers' Championship at any time this year, and he's only ahead of Russell by 6 points right now for third place.
Going into the Saudi race.
Going into this race.
Wow.
So the minute I'm predicting the moment he falls down to fourth, which could happen any race now.
Yep.
I'm gone to Mercedes.
And he's a villain.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll follow him wherever he goes because I just like the way he rides and I just like the way he carries himself.
I'd rather him go to Mercedes.
Okay, I know you have no love for Red Bull whatsoever, right? But how's your Ferrari team doing? Yeah, so far.
Fourth and fifth in Bahrain, I'll take that.
You're going to get your time. There's tracks coming to greet your car.
Well,
you got some work to do.
The way I look at it, Fred Vasseur, ever since he's come over, Ferrari's had very strong second halves. So I'm saying Ferrari's best time this year is going to come down the road. And with the new rule set and regulations next year, we'll see. The rumor is that like Mercedes and Ferrari are ahead, but I mean, you got to take that stuff with a grain of salt anyways. But,
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
But I mean, last time they were pretty right about that. They were saying Ferrari was like ahead of everyone coming out of the gate, and they were for, 3 races at the start of this regulation set. But
point well taken.
We'll see. We'll obviously keep an eye on Saudi Arabia. I will predict that Lando wins from pole this race.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We'll end it with this. McLaren would be the greatest team on the planet if they could connect the dots, put on the same seat belts, eat at the same restaurant. Come on, you see that? And Zach Brown, he's just entertainment. Bring that guy.
Andrzej Kopitar's friend.
Oh, yeah. We'll use that one all year. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I wonder if Jesus thinks he's a jerk.
we'll leave that there, I guess. But this is so bad. But I'm just wondering, how does McLaren blow it this year? That's where my mind goes to automatically.
Oh, come on, yeah. Because look at, they're good. Their pace, everything is unbelievable. And you just see these little things that's going on.
They're making the same mistakes as last
year. Yes, sirree. And that's, and that's not good.
That is not good.
But neither one of us are really fans of the guy. I like Zach Brown when he was losing more because he got to be more crazy. But now that he's winning, he's even more like, okay, this guy is nuttier than I thought.
I always thought he was a bit insufferable.
Yeah.
They even do things on the F1 YouTube page with the team principals, and he's there, and you're not team principal, buddy.
No.
What are you doing there?
You're Kopitar's friend.
Go chill with him in Slovenia. No, I'm kidding. But obviously, we'll keep an eye on Saudi Arabia. We got Miami next week as well, before a little bit of a break. So a lot of Formula One down the stretch. But for now, we'll move this over, or I guess we'll keep this in Europe. I guess F1's in Asia right now, but we'll move this over to Europe, where we have the Women's IIHF Championship.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Canada lost their group stage game to the USA on Sunday, 2-1. It was a tight one. Canada lost the battle, but they have not lost the war yet. Canada has a little bit of a history of losing to the States in the group round, but then winning against them when it matters the most. So
I'm going to roll the dice that way, but I'm going to tell you, girls, watch the penalties.
Yes.
Watch the penalties, girls. You know what I mean? And you know what? Sometimes the Yanks got away with it. Like, the Yanks get some stuff with some retaliation, but a couple times our girls were just going, take this, bitch. And I went, ooh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that was a big problem.
It took a little of our mo away a couple of times. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. I mean, Canada was down 2-0 going into the third. And they were outshot 28-19, so penalties obviously a huge factor in that one.
Yep.
But the Canada took that into a win against Czechia the next day out on Monday. Poulin 2 goals, O'Neill 2 goals in that one. And in the quarterfinals 2 days ago, Canada smoked Japan 9-1. Filia led the way with 2 goals, although that was Japan's first ever goal against Canada.
How did they get that far, Japan? Did they pay someone?
Well, how it works...
They got dominated, though. I stopped watching it nowhere.
So how it works in the women's is that it's Group A, Group B.
Yeah.
The 5 teams in Group A all make it to the quarterfinal stage because they're the upper tier teams.
Yeah.
And then Group B, 3 of those... It's basically 3 kind of teams. So 3 of them get to go through kind of by
a little
default.
battle, like a play-in.
Yeah. Canada, Finland is today for the semifinal.
Just wait a second, though. Shouldn't we congratulate the Japanese for getting a goal against us?
I just did.
That's good. I want to make sure congratulate because then we can get that out of the way.
Yeah.
In case they do it in the future. Right?
Hope you never score against us again.
That's cool. I was going to go there.
Canada, Finland today for the semifinal, and then the final is tomorrow. We're expecting that one to be Canada, USA, of course.
Should be a good game. I hope the Finns don't try to slow it down like they always do.
Canada still beat them 5-0 in the group stage this time.
I'm not overly concerned.
No, and
don't take it lightly. That's all we're asking.
Yes.
Correct.
And we are a week out from the PWHL season resuming.
Yes.
3 games left on the docket before we get to playoffs. Should be, and I believe they're keeping it best out of 5. So should be a great fight to the finish. Anything else for women's hockey?
No, but we'll keep you well informed when the girls get back in town. Go Canada.
Go Canada.
Go Canada.
And go Toronto FC as we move to soccer. They host Minnesota today.
Go what? Go where? Where are they going? You talking Toronto FC?
They're going to the Wooden Spoon.
Okay.
I told you about that sign I saw hanging by BMO Field where it's no wins since September. Wooden Spoon contender.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
TFC fans are pissed.
No kidding. Attendance is telling.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I mean, the weather early on obviously plays a part in that, but I don't imagine BMO Field is going to be packed every week.
Are we playing at home today?
Yes, it is.
Good, because the weather's nice out there.
Yeah.
You know, I walked today like this. That was the first time I went out with not even a hoodie on. It's a good day.
Beautiful.
Yep.
But obviously, we'll keep an eye on TFC. Hopefully that just they can do something. In England, my match of the week is Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Two teams battling for a Champions League spot. And Aston Villa just knocked out of Champions League, so they'll have a little bit more, I guess, of a decision to make with their rosters. They can play more of their starters out there. Obviously, keeping it with Premier League, looking at the table, Liverpool still leading the way there. They've just been dominant all season. They're
going to race to the end. You know, that's too bad they lost in Champions.
Well, they didn't just lose. They choked. With 6 games to go, they have a 13-point lead. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to take a lot to choke that away. Arsenal in second place. Newcastle in third. Nottingham Forest in fourth. Manchester City holding on to the final Champions League spot with 55 points. Although Chelsea and Aston Villa both only 1 point back with 6 games left to go. This one not over by a long shot.
100%.
In Italy, Atalanta beat Bologna 2-0 last week. Atalanta was outshot, outpossessed, outshot 12-4 and 5-2 on goal. They only had 40% possession, and they scored on both their shots on goal. For that one, Atalanta continues to work their magic. The Europa winners last year hang on to third place. Milan still top of the league with 71 points. Napoli 3 points back of them with 68. Atalanta's got 61. Juventus holding on to that final Champions League spot with 59 points, although Bologna only 2 points back.
How many games left? Lots, right?
Six games.
6, okay.
Season is in its final stretch. Yep. My game of the week this week is Bologna versus Inter, so number 5 versus number 1 in that league. In Spain, my match of the week is Real Madrid versus Athletic. That'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a huge game. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
A lot of sports on tomorrow, eh?
Well, soccer's always on the weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's true, but yeah.
Barcelona's got a 4-point lead over Real Madrid. They had 70 with 7 games left to go. Atletico Madrid's in third with 63. Athletic, who I previously mentioned, is in fourth place with 57 points. And they have Villarreal 6 points back of them with the game in hand with 7 matches left. So their Champions League spot is not completely sealed out yet, although it's going to take a little bit of a collapse for them to fall out of there. In Germany, Bayern and Dortmund drew 2-2 last week. Bayern outshot them 28-11 with 11-3 shots on goal, and they had 63% possession. Bayern now with a 6-point lead with 5 games left to go.
Should be good.
Should be a good one. Bayer Leverkusen still hanging on, though. Still with a mathematical chance at least. In France, Monaco beat Marseille 3-0. Big win for Champions League standing. 15-8 shots, 10-4 shots on goal. Although Monaco only had 41% possession, so making the most out of their opportunities.
I'd say so.
And they leapfrog Marseille now for second place in that league. Obviously, we mentioned PSG already has it sealed. But Monaco and Marseille hang on to second and third. But Lyon and Lille just a couple points. So Lyon's 1 point back, and Lyon Strasbourg just 2 points back on Marseille for that final Champions League spot. So still a lot to sort out over there.
But did Monaco didn't make champions this year?
Yes,
they
did.
They got knocked out a while ago, right?
I believe they got eliminated in that play-in round.
In that play-in, yeah.
Obviously, though, the big news of this week, the one we all want to talk about, is Champions League. The quarterfinal round is over. Second leg wrapped up.
Oh, boo.
First up, Dortmund topped Barcelona 3-1, but fell 5-3 on aggregate. Dortmund dominated the shot column, 11-2 shots on goal, but was not enough. Barcelona kind of resting guys, keeping their eye on the prize, obviously, as they're still in the fight for La Liga. Aston Villa bested PSG 3-2, but lost 5-4 in aggregate. PSG blew a 2-0 lead in this one, but just manages to hang on there. Still fighting for that final Champions League spot, and it is now the third time in the last 6 years now they've made to the semifinals, which is not a spot we're used to seeing PSG in now. So I wonder if this could be
third time in the last 6 years
that they've been in the semifinals, which they've never been in before.
Okay.
So they've
never been to a final?
Never been to a final. So I'm wondering if this could be their Manchester City season.
Oh, interesting.
They got the dirty oil money too. So
yes. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Inter ties Bayern 2-2, but Inter advances 4-3 on aggregate.
Boo.
Kane scored in this one. It was just another botched trophy for the Englishmen.
Oh, boo! And
I told you, Inter.
Oh, I was like, I went, wow, when I got to see the highlights and everything. Not that I'm a big German guy, but I thought they were like, they're going to be the team. And
I've seen better Bayern teams than this.
Well, I'm watching a little bit more closely. That's why I was looking at it that way. But I thought that they would be, so there's nothing for them till next year, right?
Yep.
Oh,
all they can win now is their league.
Oh yeah, well, they're
Bundesliga,
going to win
because they're out of their national cup as well.
Oh, boo!
Yeah, their domestic cup rather. And
Inter's gone too. I'm not Inter. I mean, Real Madrid's gone too.
Yes, they fell to Arsenal 2-1. Arsenal winning that one 5-1 on aggregate. Insane.
I'm told you, I'm jumped on their bandwagon real quick. The Gunners, let's go.
And they will be playing PSG in the semifinals. Their first leg on April 29th. Leg 2 will be on May 7th. And on the other end of the bracket, it's Barcelona versus Inter April 30th and May 6th. So they get this week off, and then it's back-to-back weeks for the semis.
Who do you like in those games? Well, of course you got Barcelona because you got to pick to win it all.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I got Barcelona and PSG.
Really? Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with your theory. Well, you're going with the dirty money theory and the MC City stuff. Okay, but I'm thinking Arsenal might be because they got cred.
Sure.
They got cred. They've been there before. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with the Gunners.
So we're both on Barcelona though?
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, come on.
Sorry, Inter. I mean, that's not the craziest to think that they could upset Barcelona. I mean, it's the semifinals. Everyone here is really good.
They beat Bayern, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I expected it to be the other way because this would have been Bayern Munich against Barcelona, right? If they had won?
Yes, it would have been.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought going into this, that's how it was going to end up. And a lot of those guys with crazy accents, when you hear behind the box, they were calling for that before. Like, when the first leg was coming around, they were already talking about this would be the semifinal to see, but that's how sports goes. You got to play the games, right?
Yep.
Whoops.
It's interesting tier 2 because you have the first place team in Spain, the first place team in Italy, the first place team in Spain, or in France rather, and then the second place team in England all left. So very, very good teams that are remaining here.
100%.
We'll keep an eye on that into the Champions League final. That's going to be later in June. Hopefully we can watch that together.
Yeah, we will. 100%.
That's going to be on a Sunday afternoon.
A Sunday afternoon in June?
Yes.
Maybe there'll be even a patio, eh?
Okay.
Could be.
We'll chat. We'll chat.
We'll find a place. We could do it here, but if the weather's good.
Yeah, sure.
Because I know a couple places we could maybe even over here at Jack Astor's pasture because they have that. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. And we will move this over to baseball, where it was Jackie Robinson Day on April 15th, one of my favorite traditions here in baseball. Everyone wears 42 in Dodger blue. Just a nice little nod to one of the all-time greats in baseball who broke the color barrier.
100%, man. Jackie Robinson, iconic figure in American history, cannot be understated at no time. I love this. I love it. It took them a long time to figure out to do this. I don't know why they didn't do it 30 years ago, but I guess time comes on to do it. It's just the fact that they're going to do it for the rest of
baseball.
The rest of baseball is damn cool with me. I like it. You know what I mean? Have you been watching much baseball this week?
I've been watching some. So the Jays at Baltimore, they had that first game rained out last weekend. That one's going to be replayed. They lost on Saturday, but took Sunday's game in extra innings, which was awesome to see. That was an amazing comeback. I was kind of flipping back and forth between that and the Masters. That was one to watch, definitely. Some great drama on both ends of the tube there. They later won their series against Atlanta 2-1, which is a little bit of a surprise, but I will take it, just blowing that one game. And they won their opener against Seattle yesterday. And doing it basically all the same way with pitching and not so much hitting.
Okay, so let's get serious here for a second. I'm going to, first of all, said this, and I'm going to beat, because you guys are listening out there, here's what I said. This is what my promise, as long as we are 500 by May 1st, here we go. So right now, what's our record?
12-8.
How many days left in April?
Like half the month, a little bit less than half.
20. So because it's short days, so we got 10 days.
Okay.
So we go. All we have to do is go even 500 for the rest of the games in April, and guess what? We're good.
Yep.
Now let's talk about why we're not so good. Okay, I said if our pitching holds up, we get a modicum of defense and a little bit of more offense, we would be fine. Our pitching's holding up way better than expected. The bullpen has been just fine. Do you realize right now?
Yes, especially we have 4 bullpen guys that are like dominant right now. Your boy Jimmy Garcia has not allowed a single earned run so far.
Thank you very much. And not
he's
only
striking out everybody.
And we're in the top 5. But he's going to give up a rocket, so don't get mad when he does, because they catch that fastball. Souvenir man.
Well, it's going to happen eventually.
Of course, but it hasn't happened. It happened to Hoffman the other night, but it was a good time to give that up. But the bottom line is
he's been solid.
We've been top 5 in pitching. All of our starters have been good. You know what I mean? They have blips in
the young guy has been a little hot and cold.
Okay, so here's my theory about
Lucas?
Yeah, Lucas. Here's my theory about the pitching, bro, and this is why I say we got a good chance. Baltimore lost again last night. That was good. Yankees beat up on Tampa Bay. That put them a little bit farther behind. So if you look at the standings right now, we're not in such a bad position. You know, this is where we got to...
I don't even bother looking at the standings till mid-May, though. I'm just concerned about the Jays' record right now.
Okay, so this is how we got here, okay? And this is why we're going to be over 500 right there. I did a little research, okay? And I'm saying this. It's all about your starters. And they're trying to get these guys to pitch to contact, which Francis does, which Bassett does. The head case himself, one of the best starting records in baseball this year. If they didn't blow that game for him, he'd be like, whoa, he could be pitcher of the month.
Well, Gosman, and Francis have been lights out to start.
Yeah, exactly. And the kid's been okay, and Barrios has just been Barrios, so we're not... Okay.
Yeah, Barrios, I mean, his first start was rough, and his last start wasn't great either. But
he was good for the first 5, and he got a little bit crazy. So my theory is you need 5 starters. We still got, what's his name, in the bullpen that could start?
Who?
Your guy that you like.
No.
What's his name? I'm having a brain fart. Rodriguez? Yes, okay. You're a little bit nervous about him. But we still have 6.
Let's undersell the year.
Okay, so...
I don't even like him coming out of the bullpen.
Okay, but here's the deal, bro. Think, okay, we got those 5. Are you quite happy with the 5 we got started?
The starters, yeah.
Okay, so look whatever we got to go against. We got Baltimore, who is at the bottom of their rotation, their last 3. Oh, Charlie Morton, who's 365 years old. You see his ERA right now? He looks like he's past his best before date. And what about Effin and Povich? You've seen their numbers? They don't even let the Povich guy pitch if there's a day missing. Like, they'll skip a day and then they'll put him in.
Eflin's been great, though.
He's been on and off. So
his whip is .083. He's allowed, come on.
Okay,
and his ERA is 3.
Who else has got
fine.
Baltimore? Okay. Anyways, name all their 5. Nah, they're back in, isn't there?
Okay, now Charlie Morton has been a disaster. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah, and look at their other starters.
His whip is almost 2. That's
okay,
awful.
And look at their other starters. They're and the innings.
Yeah, like Shigano, Kremer.
Yeah. Okay, we're them. Now, let's go to the Sox. They got that Hulk guy. What has he done lately? They got Newcomb and Fitz. This Fitz guy, we don't even know where he's fitting in yet, and that's the bottom of their rotation compared to ours.
I mean, besides, okay, Crochet's been dynamite for them.
Okay, and now what do you get after their bottom 3?
Well, Newcomb and Fitz have been both pretty good.
Okay.
Well, Newcomb,
Yeah, exactly. So if you compare them to ours, we've got better
Red Sox
numbers.
have been insanely disappointing, though.
What's that?
Red Sox have been pretty disappointing out of the gate.
Stay,
I mean, it's still early. They're above 500.
I agree. Okay.
To your theory.
Okay, so now you go to Tampa Bay. Now, Rasmussen's pitched great last night when he was pitching against Rodon of Yankees. That was a great pitching battle last night. Was a final 1-0. But what are their bottom? Pez and Pepiot? Who are those guys? Any med better than we've got on our bottom? No. So when I'm going to starting pitching is a thing that gets you down the road. We're there. Now, the Yankees starting pitching is better than I expected, even though they've lost their big boy, Garrett Cole. Except for Stroman. He's their guy. What's Stroman at? ERA of 8? You keep doing it.
ERA 11.5. That is awful, Marcus.
Okay, and what about Carrasco and Warren?
Yeah, Carrasco's been bad. Warren's been pretty bad.
Okay, but that's the only
Max Fried has been as advertised.
Oh no, he's been there too, yeah. And Buddy, Rodon's been good.
Rodon's been okay.
Yeah, so when you look at the rotations, who's got the best rotation in the American League East? I'll put ours up there right now.
Can we hit though?
That's the next question. Okay, I'm trying to put the pieces together here. Okay, give me a little second here. Vladdy hit a home run.
Finally.
Okay, here we go. Santander is hitting the ball really hard. He's been a little unlucky lately. So what do we have here? The problem is we don't have a cleanup hitter. Okay?
It's supposed to be Santander.
Okay, here's my theory. Is this a good thing to do? First of all, sorry, David Schneider, to see you go. I don't think we'll see him back in the Blue Jays lineup. No. You know why?
So he was optioned to AAA Buffalo. I think he'll be back eventually. We'll need a bat or something at one point.
And unless there's an injury issue, he will not be back.
Someone's going to get injured.
He's 26 plus. He would have already shown us enough to go. He's going to be a career backup guy down in the minors, and some other team will pick him up when they have some injury issues too. God bless him, because I thought he was going to be more than this.
Yeah.
He's not.
So did my brother when he bought a Davis Schneider jersey.
Oh, sorry, Steven. He's not. He's done. He ain't coming back. People, keep the jersey, though. It's always fun to wear when you're 60.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a few of those around. Okay, so
the guys are just going to be like, who the hell has a Davis Schneider jersey?
Okay,
That's
so
what it's going to be.
There you go. Now, Gimenez at second base, he's turned out to be the hitter that we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, but he's there for his defense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So he should be our number 9 hitter. He's been in the 4 spot and the 5 spot this year.
Yeah,
what are you
that's
doing?
ridiculous.
No kidding, because they don't know what to do with the young guys. So here's what our problem is. Let's go to a straight platoon with some positions. You just know every day you're hitting against the righty, you're hitting against the lefty.
So what platoons are you thinking?
Third base and an outfield, because Varsho is going to come back and he's supposed to be the hero. Fuck that. Varsho can't even hit 240. And we better hope Kirk hits 250.
Well, you want him in center field for his defense, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he'll hit 8.
Okay, so what platoons are you going to have, though? So
Third base would be Clement and Barger and he can play outfield too.
Well, just call it Martinez. Come on.
What's that?
Just call it Martinez.
That's coming though, right? Then what do we do with those guys? All right, because what's his name?
Keep Clement as a utility guy
and keep Straw then, because the next guy that's going to, if they call it Martinez, who goes? Can't touch anybody in the pitching staff. So no. Clement will be the guy that's going to be cut. Him or Barger? Who else is going to be?
Barger.
What?
Probably Barger.
But did you see Barger last night? 3 assists, bro. He's swinging. You know what? He's swinging out of his shoes because he's trying to impress people.
I don't think he has a single hitter.
No,
he hasn't gotten on base yet.
But he's only got 10 at bats, something like that. 10 or 11 at bats. Threw 3 guys out last night.
We'll see. How about who's your outfield platoon then?
My outfield platoon would be with Barger and Straw. And who is playing left field? Who's else? Who am I missing that's playing outfield? I'm missing somebody.
Roden.
But I think Roden is going to work himself into being a regular player. I think he could be the guy. So what we should be looking at is a Roden, Straw, Varsho outfield.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Oh, and Springer in there too, because then Santander could be
well,
a
Springer,
double.
I imagine, like him and Santander, I don't know, you got to do something there. Like, they're probably going to get a bunch of DH at-bats, right?
Okay, so I agree. So those 4 guys got to stay there so you can rotate. If you have the platoon will be with Roden and Straw, whatever the case may be, because they're not going to be sitting Springer. But here's the thing. What do we do now? Do we put Springer back into the leadoff role and the whole lineup drops down 1, and now we got a certified 4 hitter in Santander? So who hits behind Santander? It would have to be Roden or one of the kids getting hot, or put him there, Kirk there when he's hitting, and let the other guy play a little bit more. Our Hellman catcher?
Yeah.
Give him a few more at bats, because Kurt's got to. Here's the thing I'm going to ask you: if we're going to win the division, can we get 30 home runs from our catcher, third base positions combined? How about 25?
30 from those 2 positions combined doesn't sound too crazy.
Oh, but who's going to hit them? That's what I'm saying.
Call it Martinez.
Okay, well, you better get up here really damn quick. But you know what I'm saying? We're close to being something, but we're not. We're in that half a fellatio.
Like, I don't even know who you put in, like, your 5-hole. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So now, with Santander, and we'll use Kirk. If he's going to hit there, because he's got back control. He just can't run, and he pops the ball up too much. That's the problem with him. But his catching metrics are off the charts. He doesn't
hit enough, though.
Who?
Kirk.
So why do we give him all that money? I told you. What are we doing? Because he
His
can
defensive
frame
metrics.
pitches, and he worked himself into that position. But the other guy's enough of a veteran now. That Hellman guy, Heineman, or whatever his name is. He's enough of a veteran that I think we should give him a few more at bats.
I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be like Varsho's going to be like our number 5 hitter. He's in single A Dunedin now on his rehab assignment, so he's going to be back soon.
Okay, so you know who our number 5 hitter is? Martinez.
I agree.
Okay,
once he gets up here, yeah.
Well,
it should be. If it was me, Springer 1, Guerrero 2, Bichette 3, Santander 4.
Okay, but if it doesn't work out that way and we keep it this way, then we keep Springer at the 5th and Martinez so we come in after if he comes up and he hits. Because the bottom line is Springer's got a comfortable zone there. Sometimes they say at your place in the lineup you get comfortable and away you go. And thank God we dodged that wrist thing he had a couple games ago because he was out swinging and hitting last night. I would like to see him back at the top of the order to see what happened, and I think he's a veteran and he could handle it. But the bottom line is, what if his back goes into the tank again?
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. And I'm not worried about Santana. Santander. Where's he from? Dominican Republic?
I think so.
He still thinks this is winter.
Might as well be for him.
But he's got the stroke for the dome.
I hope.
Oh, it's coming, bro. Did you see a couple foul balls that he's hit? That means you're just off. He's hit a couple of foul balls that were so far out of the park so fast. I thought they were the one, but he was over swinging. You know those one, bang, oh, that's gone. Oh, just missed. And we've had a bunch of those. But we're getting away with murder. We can't play like this. This is a 20-game sample now. We're 12-8, bro.
Yep.
Would you have been happy if we told you let's start the year 12-8?
Of course, I'd be happy with 12-8.
One game behind the Yankees, and I'm going to bail it down to my theory when we started this season. It's going to be, our pitching is going to get us there with defense. And I don't even think we got the greatest defense. Guys have been playing relatively well. Like I said, Bose can't throw it out from the corner. We never know who's going to be playing right field. Like every game, it's someone different.
Vladdy will be a little bit of a wild card at first base.
Outstanding or outrageous?
Yes.
I don't know. But we got that Jimenez guy there.
Yes. He certainly helps to seal a few cracks.
Definitely. He's the anchor there. And Clement's really good on third. He's great defensively.
He can play him any infield position, yeah.
But he can't hit.
Yeah.
That's a problem. He can't hit a breaking ball. You know, that's like, in Looney Tunes, when the guy gets on the mound and he throws that.
Yeah, and it like spins around.
They just throw those to Clement. By the time Clement swings, his knees are in the dirt. You know what I mean? But in any event, if we hit a little, let's be happy to where we are. And here's a great thing. It's when you play people at what time. Like Seattle's better than they are. Do you see who they've played so far? They played like Detroit. Their schedule. You know what I mean? Just like us.
Seattle are frauds.
What?
Seattle are frauds.
Why do you think?
Because they're going to choke like they do every year.
They're built just like us. All pitching, no hitting. Look, they put 3. This is when you know you're.
And they have a history of looking good up until like July and then choking it away.
I think they've got too much pitching to do it. Some of these guys are going to come around. But
we'll see.
You know why we don't have their problem? They had to send up 3 pinch hitters in a row. When you send up 3 pinch hitters,
that's bad.
We haven't done that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was seeing that, but look at. It's all about your schedule now. And look, we've got through New York, Boston, Baltimore with those weather, like I told you. And we played the Mets at the wrong time. We had a 3-game losing streak. But Seattle's had a pretty tough schedule, too. And look at their record. They're just over 500, aren't they? Are they 500?
I believe they are 500. But we're already like 15 minutes into baseball. You had a little bit of a Detroit Tiger report.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go before we get out of there. The Detroit Tigers are comfortably in first place in the American League Central. They've got enough pitching. Their top 3, they're stars. They got that Screwball guy, they got Flaherty, and they got that Joe Job kid. Like that's 3 aces. Their other 2 guys are as good as anybody else because I've looked all around the league. You go to Texas, see what their 5 are. You go anywhere. LA's been doing it with the Angels. So what am I saying about the Tigers are? Riley Green, Torkelson, the guy that plays first base, the catcher, these guys are all coming of age. Guess what? They're young, they run, and they play D. I'm saying the Detroit Tigers are in first place right now. I expect them to stay there for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And this is April. Did you hear me? Was I stuttering? The Detroit Tigers are in first place to stay, people. They might flutter. Cleveland might jump up and bite them, but they're at the front end of their pitching too. Now, their bullpen could be a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm not going to, and I'll tell you a few more, but their catcher's coming into the, I forget his name, is that Torkelson guy, Riley Green, guy McCash. They're all like 24, 25, 26. So they've all been in that position, like when they're going to make the next step. And it seems like all these guys are making the same step at the same time. Remember, we've seen them last year in the playoffs, so they were all coming up. But they didn't have fantastic numbers because they hadn't played long enough. But Detroit Tigers. What's going to happen? I'm going to go see them when they play Toronto, and I'm going to sit in my seat and not cheer.
All right, so
I've done it before in the past.
What?
Gone to a Tigers-Jays game at the Dome and didn't cheer.
Do I just sit there with your hands in your lap?
I think I wore a Habs shirt. Or something crazy like that.
Classic fence sitter cruise.
Oh, yeah. No, I went looking like, why are you wearing this at a baseball game? Because I did it on purpose just because my buddies knew. They go, yeah, you're a coward. My son, God bless him, said, Dad, you're a coward. I think you at the game. Yeah, he called me a coward. I know, Gaff, he called me a coward. He said, you're a coward, Dad. You're a coward. You're really a Jays fan. You just can't give it up, can you? No, I can't. I like the Tigers. That's my call. And I'll be watching them all year. BOH, did you hear that? Did you hear that, BOH? Detroit Tigers. That should be enough for baseball this week. Come on, Jays, keep doing what you're doing. 2 or 3 from Seattle. Just win every series.
Yes, so we want to also mention NL West and Kershaw. We got to give it that.
Right.
We'll talk about that a little later, I guess. We got a lot of time to talk about the NL West. And also should mention Clayton Kershaw throwing in rehab starts in the minors.
Yes.
So best of luck to him, and hopefully he can get back to his former
Before
glory.
we go, you should have brought this up. We're going to keep an eye on that. What do we say about baseball? I don't know if we'll ever have a salary cap because money changes everything. And, we should keep our eye on the NL West. You see okay, let's just look at Arizona's record alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What place are they in?
Were they
Fourth.
Fourth now?
They're in fourth.
For now, their record's still good, though.
Oh,
so
solid.
A lot of
Look
baseball
at
left
the
to be
three.
played.
Look at the 3 in front of them. And who's had the top 10 payrolls in baseball? Just do the math. We'll be back to the NL West. Glad you brought it up.
We absolutely will.
No doubt about it.
So we will move this over to the NBA playoffs where we have a full playoff preview on tap. First of all, we should get some house cleaning out of the way. So Utah, Washington, Charlotte, New Orleans, and Philly all have the top 5 odds for the draft lottery. That is sealed now.
Mm-hmm.
Suns fired head coach Budenholzer. 1 year on the job.
I thought that was kind of harsh, eh?
They were pretty disappointing, though.
What?
They couldn't even get into the play-in.
That's like you're the bus driver and you're telling everybody to sit in their seat and they're throwing stuff out the windows and smashing bottles and causing problems. And when the bus stops, they fire you. Yeah,
You're responsible for the bus, though.
That's what they're saying. He's responsible for the product on the field. And he's a good coach. He's been through a lot the last couple of years. I think he'll get another job somewhere. He'll at least be assistant or something. But what are they going to do in Phoenix?
I have no idea.
Kevin Durant won't be back.
No, he will not be. Also some NHL news coming in down here, but I'll save that for later.
Oh.
Joe Dumars, president of the New Orleans Pelicans, your boy.
Very much so. I wonder what he's going to do with Zion. They're at a crossroads with him, you know what I mean?
They got to do something.
Well, either that he stays the way it is and Dumars changes the rules. Okay, kid, hit the floor, play as many minutes you want, and either you blow it out or you win for us. Because Zion's been best shape of his career, and he's saying, I want to play more.
Yep.
And the management didn't want to take the leash off him. Is Joe Dumars coming in to fix this up? I don't know. Joe's been good. We all know what his biggest mistake was, so we don't want to bring that up again. But he's been a good executive. He did very good in Detroit. It's good to see him back in the league.
Exactly. So we also had our play-in tournament wrap up last night. So for the first one, Orlando beat Atlanta for the number 7 seed in the East. Golden State won a banger of a match against Memphis to take the number 7 seed in the West. Both numbers 10 seeds upset as Miami upset Chicago and Dallas bested Sacramento. And then, of course, last night we had the battle for the number 8 seeds. So Atlanta lost in overtime to Miami. Miami had a big lead. They blew it, but took it to overtime and got it done. Then Memphis getting it done against Dallas, 120-106.
So let's discuss what's going to happen because we got a playoff preview. And here's what how I'm going to look at it because we don't want to be here forever. So we're going to start like this. And you agree or disagree. First of all, we're going to talk about my boy John Morant. Guy's a superstar. No doubt about it. But there's no particular reason we should be talking about Memphis and OKC due to the fact that how long you think that series is going to be. Come on, so we shouldn't be kidding ourselves. Well, what if? Because Brandon Clark's not going to be back, and I'm the jaw guy. So you don't think I'd be talking about this till the cows come home? No. OKC's got the defensive metrics. They're playing at home. We've seen what the series looked like. Brandon Clark won't defend SGA. Therefore, we will already say, just want to skip that series and say guaranteed OKC and maybe 6. Maybe 5.
We'll get to that a little bit later. Let's do Eastern Conference matchups first. So
let's be honest about that one. Why are we going to talk about Miami playing Cleveland or who's playing Boston?
Orlando.
Oh, come on. I just did that scenario about Memphis and them. What's going to happen in that series? Next.
Cleveland, Miami. So Cleveland has been great all season, but they've been kind of... Hold on. I don't think it's that cut and dry, Cruz.
I do.
They've been up and down all season. Miami has had a lot of problems, but they could still win at home. I got the Cavs in 5.
I got the Cavs in 5.
Fives as well?
Gentlemen's
sweep.
Gentlemen's sweep.
All right. Next up, we have Boston versus Orlando.
4 straight.
So Boston is too good. Orlando's had just above a disaster all season. Although, historically, Boston has had that one game where their shot isn't falling in the series. And they just pack it up and go home, and they're just going to win the next one. Celtics
you know what?
in 5.
It's going to happen. So, okay, we'll give it 5. You know why? Because they're going to be in Orlando, and the weather's going to still be shitty in Boston, and they're going to be up 3-0. They're going to be sitting on the beach with their girlfriends, swinging their golf clubs, get in, and all of a sudden they'll realize they're down by 15 in the third quarter, and they'll say, rest till we get home, guys.
All right.
So that series is going nowhere. We won't even talk about. That's what I'm saying. We won't talk about the intangibles because I don't think there is any.
Okay. Number 3, New York versus number 6, Detroit. The Knicks have good pieces to get past the Pistons, but they will not go further than that. The Pistons will have their hands full with Brunson and Towns, in my opinion. Last time I said Knicks in 7, but I'll change it to Knicks in 6.
Oh, I'm going to be even. No. This is the coming out for the Cade Cunningham party. Not only that, he's going to put his boy Duran and Stewart, and they're going to play bad boy basketball, and it's going to be the biggest upset. My garden will be watered with Stephen A. Smith tears.
Okay.
It'll be amazing. I'm picking really look at the defensive metrics and look at how Detroit has come all along. They match up well. They're big. They can now. The sneaky part where I'll give it to you is I don't know what Detroit's going to do with Anunoby. That's the guy. Because, they're going to stick him on Cade. So Cade better be ready to know, hey, man, Anunoby's, I'm an Anunoby boy. But I'm still going to say something about this series tells me Detroit in 7.
Yeah, so that's what you said last time. You're sticking with it.
Yep.
All right, next up, number 4, Indiana against number 5, Milwaukee. The Pacers don't really have a good answer for Giannis, who's playing his best self. That's issue number 1.
Okay.
And Doc Rivers teams have a track record of playing better shorthanded.
Wow.
Pacers, also, they're too much of a one-way team for my liking. Last time I said Bucks in 6. I'm going to change that to Bucks in 7, though. I think it's going to be a tough one.
What did I say?
You said Pacers in 7.
I'm going to stay there. You know why? Because they're going to wear him down. Giannis can't do it by himself.
Lillard could come back, though. He's training. He's cleared.
When do we know? Yes, no, they got Bobby Portis back. That's huge.
I'm going to predict he'll be back for game 3 or 4 in Milwaukee. One of the games back in Milwaukee he'll be back for.
He will be back?
That's my prediction. That's nothing based off science or whatever. That's just my uninformed, uneducated opinion.
Okay, if Lillard comes back, I would give them. No. I think that they're gonna. It's going to be because of home advantage. I'm going to stick with it, and I feel bad. I'd rather see the Greek Freak and Doc go on just because I like them better. But I just think Indiana with Pascal's playing great with Halliburton, those 2 long kids that play out in the wings. They're playing at home. They're going to run. Milwaukee's shorthanded. I got to take the Pacers in 7.
I know. I think the Pacers blew their load last year with that NBA Cup final and going to the conference finals.
But they didn't do that this year, so you know what I mean? But you know what? I hope Giannis...
They used it all up.
I hope the Greek Freak wins this series because this guy is one of the best basketball players on the planet, and since he's won the championship, things have just gotten obscured in that part of Wisconsin, and people are forgetting the fact who's better, maybe the Joker, maybe SGA or whatever. But at any given time, the Greek Freak's basically playing center, point guard, swing defender. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a lot. He'll be playing close to 40 minutes a night.
Yeah, basically.
That's what I'm saying. And it's the pace that the Pacers play at. Mm-hmm. Is he going to have the gas to get to 7 games? They get to 7 games, and all of a sudden they lose by 10. And Giannis has had triple doubles for 7 games, and his freaking knuckles are dragging on the ground. If Lillard comes back, it's a difference. I mean, I'm cheering for him, but I'm going to stick with the Pacers in 7.
All right, moving it over to the Western Conference. We have number 1 Oklahoma City versus number 8 Memphis. Grizzlies are frauds. Thunder in 4.
Okay, don't say they're frauds.
I'm saying they're frauds.
Okay, that's why I said we should not waste time. That's why I got it out of the way because I love Ja. You know what I mean? He won't have enough grenades in his pocket.
Or machine guns.
They're going to win a game. They're going to win a game in Memphis.
So you're taking OKC in 5?
Oh, yeah. They're going to win a game.
All right, next up we have number 2 Houston against number 7 Golden State. Rockets, young, athletic, great rebounding, but inexperiences sometimes have trouble finding the key moments in the fourth quarter. Warriors have the vets, and they've been there, but they lack size and depth, although they've been money down the stretch here. This is going to be a crazy series. I got the Rockets in 7.
I got the Warriors in 7, and I'm going to tell you why, because maybe even in 6, there's only one Fred VanVleet on Houston, and a bunch of hard-ons on this Jimmy Butler playoff Jimmy and Draymond Green playing the defense of his career. And I'm not even a Draymond Green. That what's that guy with the funny name, the Pollock name or whatever on Golden State? This guy's wide open all night because they're chasing Jimmy Butler or Curry. This guy's been open forever, and the guy's coming off the bench with what's his name? Kazinga or whatever his name is. Yeah. He's been playing really good. The depth has been good. I go number one, it's the experience. And when those lights get shining in the fourth quarter and Curry starts throwing down those threes and those guys panic and Fred's going, we got it. How many times can Fred say that? Fred stabled the team and got him back to second. But this is the playoffs, bro. 7 games against those guys. And you know what? Jimmy Butler will mug your mother.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? He's playing for keeps. And they're all 35. This could be the last rush. I would hope like hell. It's the same thing. I hope Houston does beat them so I don't have to watch them no more. I'm good with that. But
Warriors in 6 or 7?
I say Warriors in 6.
In 6? All right, so could set up a rematch between Curry and LeBron, as the winner of that will play the winner of the LA Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Lakers have to play small ball. Not too bad in a series where the other team's big man is more known for his defense. But they really got to slow the game down, which obviously at LeBron's age. And I mean, Luka's a half-court player too, right?
Naz Reid is the key in this thing. They're 6-man in Minnesota. I think he's the key. If he starts shooting 3 and he open up the floor a little more, because then big guys get open in the middle because they got Gobert and that other guy.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, too, the Wolves aren't too strong on the wings, so the Lakers can have their way with them there.
That's what's going to happen. But I just think the power of LeBron, Luka, what's his name, Reeves, the kids coming off the bench, Hayes banging on him. I just think, and I'm going to tell you what, Ant-Man's going to play his ass off. Like, we're going to see some shit in this series. This should be highly entertaining. But I do think the Lakers, and they got the home court advantage, right?
Yes, they do.
Well, let's take the Lakers in 7.
Yeah, last time I was saying Lakers in 5. I'm going to say Lakers in 6. And you're saying 7.
I think Ant-Man's going to win a couple games by himself. He's just going to lose his mind. But that's when you know what I mean? And you blow yourself out. And by the time you get back, we got to play 48 hours later. So even though they've scheduled some for 3 because they know that, sometimes when you get towards the end of the series, they're playing every other night. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than 48 hours to tie your shoes tighter again. I think LeBron and Luka got things to say. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get to the best series of the first round.
Yes, number 4, Denver against number 5, LA Clippers. So Denver's a mess, though. That's the big problem. They fired their coach with 3 games left, and Kawhi is the guy. The Clippers have all the depth. I think they'll be able to at least contain Jokic a little bit with Zubac there. He's a very underrated option for them.
No. And then all those boys around him are going to go nuts. And James Harden is now going to prove why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, Harden's done so much weird shit in his career, we forget about his greatness.
Yes.
The guy's one of the best of all. Is he top 20 all time? I'm starting to believe you could say Harden, number 20, give me 19 and friend. Look at how he's playing. Now he's got Kawhi playing the claw.
Yep.
Woo! And Kawhi was just player of the month or whatever, player of whatever.
Oh, he's been an animal down the stretch.
No doubt about it. And like you were saying, Jamal Murray again. Is he 100%? Is he 80%?
Health a big issue with the Nuggets right now.
Yeah, and Aaron Gordon, is he going to be good for 7 games? Michael Porter Jr. going to be good for 7 games. Firing your coach. The Joker said, hey, man, you know what he said when they fired the coach? He goes, I've fired horse trainers.
Oh, my God.
So what's going on there?
Something's going on. Last time I said Clippers in 6, but I'm going to change it to Clippers in 5.
No, I'll keep it at 6. Because you know what? The Joker's going to win games by himself. And you got Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., and they've already won a championship. They've got the medal. I'm just saying, like, I think the depth.
Yeah, but the team dynamic has completely changed now.
What's that? Yeah.
And Powell playing unreal, too.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. And they've been there. Powell,
I think Denver's got their hands full too much here.
I think that firing your coach 3 games is a sure sign that, hey. But sometimes the other thing happens, and this coach suddenly takes you to places you never expected to go. I don't believe that in this situation.
No, not here.
Okay, we're taking that. I'm cheering for Kawhi all the way.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit of a predictor for the rest of the playoffs. So you have Cleveland, Indiana in the next round. How do you predict that one to
Cleveland.
go? And how many games?
I think it'll be 6.
Cleveland
They'll beat them at their house, yeah.
I have Cleveland, Milwaukee. I'm going to say that's going to be Cleveland in 6 as well.
So we have Cleveland going to the conference finals.
Yeah, and then you have Boston, Detroit. I have Boston, New York in the second round. I'm going to say that's Boston 5.
Either team is going to be in 5, yeah.
So that sets up a Boston-Cleveland conference final.
Boston 6 or 7?
I'm going to say 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Boston to repeat.
Yeah, and then in the West, it would be OKC versus the Clippers in the next round. That's got 7-game series written all over it.
I think OKC would be deep enough to beat them.
But it's going to be a tight series.
Oh, it's going to be tight. I hope that series comes to fruition because we're going to see some crazy basketball, and we won't see all the dirty shit, but we'll see hardcore shit. You know the difference? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, but I'll take OKC.
OKC in what, 7? I got them in 7.
From 7, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have Golden State, LA. I got Houston, LA.
I'm taking LA to go to conference finals.
I would say LA beats Houston in 6. How many games do you think it would take them to beat Golden State?
I would say it might take 7, and LA will be the home team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that might take 7. They're going to be a dogfight there.
And then that sets up an OKC LA Lakers conference final. That's got at least 6 or 7.
Oh, at least. I wonder who's going to win. I got no balls there because I think that Boston is going to win it all.
Yeah, I would say OKC in maybe 6.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a lot of people, a lot of pundits out there are saying that LA, the Lakers, it's more about next year. They're going to use this kind of like, because they're not a complete team. We know that. They weren't able to get their big man, right?
Okay, so here's what's scaring me. The series gets tight. OKC, Lakers. All of a sudden, I don't want...
They have LeBron and Luka.
And questionable calls. You heard it here first. Because you know what? You know what that leads to, right?
So you have the Lakers in the finals then?
No, I don't want... I'm just saying.
I don't know. Your words are saying this thing.
Okay, look over here.
Yeah.
Look over here. That's what I'm saying. Look over here. You know what they're pining for, right? The Celtics,
Boston Lakers final. Yeah, of course.
They're all freaking pining for that. So when it gets down to that, it's going to be tight. I say OKC, Boston, but OKC won't have the guns to do it. And I hope they do for Shea and that team because they're good and they're not getting any present. But anything that leans away, and they're all praying for that Warriors
Lakers series.
So anything that gets crazy in the Houston series, you're going to see, what's his name? I never say his name.
Udoka.
Udoka. You're going to see him have a baby a couple of times in that series on calls. All they got to do is they got to tie Draymond's shoes together because Draymond, shut up. It's going to go your way. You know what I'm saying? So it should be interesting. Should be. So I'm going to take Celtics to win it all. And I'll just be... We'll talk about it after a series because we don't know about injuries and shit like that.
Absolutely. So
okay.
I also want to mention from our preseason picks, we each had 14 of the 20 teams to make the playoffs / play-in correct.
Wow.
I got only 1 seed correct. I guess Milwaukee would be in the 5 seed. You guessed Boston would be in the 2 seed, and Minnesota would be in the 6 seed. And then there was 8 picks. I made 6 picks. You made 8. I made 8 picks. You made 6 picks. That were, we guessed right that they would be playoff or play-in, but just the seed was wrong. And then I got 5. We each got 5 where we each had them in the wrong spot. Basically, like where we had them in play-in, they made the playoff.
Okay, I got you.
Or vice versa, yeah.
Got you. So we're pretty solid on how things are going to shape out.
I mean, we each made some brutal picks, but
I know that.
We each had Charlotte in the play-in.
Yes.
What's another one here? We both had New
Orleans.
You had New Orleans in the playoffs. I had them in the play-in.
Yeah, I had them in. I thought they would too, but
I had the Lakers completely missing.
But I know that. I was going, why?
But you had the Clippers completely missing.
Yes.
So
yes.
I guess
and
that
now
evened
look
out
at
there.
him and look at now. I'm going, yay. Yay. I love Kawhi. I love the way he plays.
How can you not?
You know?
If you don't like Kawhi, you don't like basketball.
Exactly.
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. The race baiter who was back on The View trying to run for president this week. And I wonder why I haven't been tuning into First Take lately.
So, complete mystery.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention for basketball?
No, it's just that it's going to be down to the thing. I seen Adam Silver was on McAfee this week. More real television. Like, that's why he's getting away with what he's doing. But Adam Silver was trying to dance around the fact about what do we do about the first half of the season. You know, everything that I'm bitching about didn't show up. He brought up the 4 nations about when you plan it right, this is what happens and we go forward. But he says, and he's got the cat in the bag, you know, he's got the bird in his mouth when he's saying, but the playoffs start now. Luka got traded. Boston and LA still on the table. People are wondering about this and that, and you just got to go, wow, Adam, you're good. And he addressed those things, and he couldn't, you know what? He was so honest, he couldn't say how to change it yet. They're working on it. Like, guys not showing up. But he was saying the exposure to the players because of the social media is great for eyeballs on the league. But when it takes a left turn, it's not very good for the league. Mm-hmm. So you got to deal with the good and the bad. But he was saying, how do we get to, because McAfee was calling him out. So one of the other guys are going, you know, so we sat around all season to wait for this. Like, you know how I would ask a question, con man? So, you know, Adam, that game, man, guy didn't show up, and we about to join, and what are you doing? And Adam Silver just sat there looking like the alien that he looks like, being very diplomatic. I like Adam Silver a lot. People say he's a pussy. I don't like that. But
no, I disagree with that.
I do, too. I think he's a very intelligent man, and he's really trying. He's fan. He's fan-oriented, but yeah. I wonder what he says behind closed doors sometimes. Because those guys were nailing everything that I was bitching about the NBA. These guys called them out on it, including the scheduling of the games and all that. And he said, well, we're in the playoffs now, and he's going to get it. Drama will be high. I will be watching starting at 1 o'clock today.
We'll be watching. We'll be keeping an eye on, I guess, draft lottery as well. Our Toronto Raptors have the 7th best odds there. We did not mention them as well. Good, best of luck to the Raptors in the future.
And we love you all.
Absolutely.
Love you all. And now
the main event.
What, WrestleMania?
That was our WrestleMania preview just right there.
Okay, we're done.
That's the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs begin today, but a little bit of house cleaning before we get to that. The top 5 lottery odds for the NHL are as follows. San Jose has the best odds, then Chicago, Nashville, although I think Chicago, if they win, they basically are forfeiting the top 2 pick because they've won twice in the last 5 years, right?
That other pick they got, that kid that scored the other night against Montreal, he's going to be good. Their top pick, make sure, was his name Nazar or something? What's his name?
Yeah.
What's that kid's name?
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
No, we won't. Chicago's not involved.
Nashville, down maybe not this week, but
next year.
So Chicago's number 2. Nashville's got the 3rd best odds. Philly 4th, and Boston number 5.
Boston.
Yeah.
Boston, Massachusetts. Glad they're swinging their clubs. I'm so glad. Pissed I'm going to have to still see Marchand, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. Yeah. The Winnipeg Jets win the President's Trophy for the first time in their franchise's history.
Congratulations, Winnipeg Jets. You know what that means? You better beat the odds, kids. We'll get there later.
It's been 12 years since the President's Trophy Chicago, winners won. Yes, and it's been almost 20 years. It's been 17 years since a team in a full season has won the President's Trophy in the Stanley Cup. That was the 2008 Red Wings.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
But Neil Pionk extended 6 years, $42 million, so that's a $7 million average annual value for the Jets. So I guess the Pionk sweepstakes this summer will no longer be taking place. It's good for them to hang on to one of their top defensemen.
Ottawa?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs win the Atlantic Division for the first time in their history, in their first division of full season since 2000 when I was a youngster.
Hey, and Marner got 100 points. And,
yes, he did.
Matthews got his 400th goal.
400th goal. Some big achievements there for the Leafs.
I heard that in Etobicoke.
I wonder why. Lane Hudson set the Habs rookie record for most points in a season by a defenseman, passing Chris Chelios with his 65th.
Yay.
And he is looking like the favorite for the Calder Trophy.
Oh, he's got it now.
Well, it's between him or Wolf, from what a lot of the pundits are saying.
And you know what? Celebrini's the best player. Sorry, I really think he's the best player. But
the word is that like him or Michkov, one of them is going to be left off as one of the finalists.
Oh, well, they got to be now. Look at the position. Wolf's got to be in. Got to give that kid. He's the goalie.
Yep.
Come on. You got to put him in there. But I hope Celebrini gets the time of day, but then that puts Michkov in the back seat either. And you know what? I don't like Michkov anyway. So.
Because he's Russian?
Not because he's Russian, because I'm liking Russians these days. We'll get to that.
Okay,
but not because he's Russian, just because.
Yeah.
His style of play isn't quite like there's other guys in the team you can pass to.
And obviously a big congratulations to the Habs for making the playoffs. It was a little bit of a scare, that Monday night game against Chicago, the shootout controversy.
Oh.
But you guys pulled it out on Wednesday against Carolina.
You know what? That was one of the times I was wondering if Jesus was in the crowd. You know what I mean? Give us a little hope and a prayer. That drives you nuts when you're a fan. 10 days ago, yeah, Habs are in. No, we're not. Wait till we get there. Habs are in. No. Let's wait till we get there. Holy shit. And now we're going into a game against Carolina, and I just got to think about it. Come on, guys. I know it was a little bit of letdown because when we won the big game that looked like the numbers were over there, we got pushed back by Ottawa. We lost a tight one to you guys, and then we puke it up against Chicago. But that's okay. We showed our mettle against Carolina.
Yeah, but I want to talk a little bit about that shootout. So there's obviously the goal that they didn't think went in, but obviously went in. It hit the back of the net.
Yes.
And then they counted it later, and there was a picture going around online about what's in the NHL rulebook, which is completely fake. I actually looked into the rulebook itself. The problem is, I guess, like the rules about the shootout are not exactly well stated out, and there was something about like after a stoppage, but I believe the stoppage is referring to the clock stopping, which obviously there's no clock in the shootout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I say this? And we talked about this in pre-production and stuff, and this is the way that I am, and this gives me an opportunity to prove my point. We were on this side of the fence in the argument, okay, so to speak. A goal is a goal is a goal is a goal.
Yeah.
How many times have I seen this on the show? Sorry it was against us, and sorry it took them a minute to find the puck, but that's not my problem. They got cameras and technology. Didn't that make everyone look stupid on the ice for a minute, didn't you think? We never got to that.
I mean, from our view, like, as I was watching that shootout live, it did not look like the puck went in there. It just kind of disappeared, so.
Yeah, so that's what you're thinking. But then when the referee was looking around like this, I said, what's going on here? Like, nobody noticed that it went in? You know what I mean?
It happens.
You know what I mean?
Well, it happened at the Olympics with the Shea Weber when he shot it through the net.
That's true too. But the funny thing is, Montembeault's kind of like, can I put it in my pocket? No, like, come on, no. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? It was unfortunate that it went that way, but a goal is a goal is a goal.
For sure.
End of story. Yeah.
Tyler Seguin was back for the Dallas Stars for their regular season finale, so he is healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, which we are obviously glad to see. One of your favorite players, Tyler Seguin.
Yes.
The Avalanche called up Gabriel Landeskog, so it looks like he's going to be ready to go for Game 1 tonight. No official word yet, but I'm imagining he will be in the lineup. There.
Glad to see him back. Think he hasn't been there since they won the Cup.
Yep.
Wow. Hope you know what? I hope he has a great playoff. I hope things go well for the guy.
Absolutely. We're cheering for Gabriel Landeskog here at the House That Happens.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Couture to retire at the end of the season due to a groin injury. That's very unfortunate to see.
Another guy that but you told me that's a drag. He's how many games?
Like 70 games short of the silver stick.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate when guys get that close.
Close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst one for me is like Caberlet was like 12 games away or something. He was like at like 988 or something, or like 990. Yeah, like that close to 1,000.
And he retired too, but he was at the end of his rope too.
Yeah,
I
know, but at that point, it's like, oh, can't someone just sign him to like a 2-week contract or like a 1-month contract or something? Like,
that's too bad. And I liked Caberlet.
Oh, he was my favorite Leaf growing up for a long time there. Yeah,
he was one of the only Leafs I liked to cheer for. I liked the way he played hockey.
Great shot too.
No, great shot. And you know what? And he had a weird toughness to him. I don't know how to explain it. Like, he wasn't driving guys through the board.
No.
But you never seen Caberlet get drove through the boards.
And such poise with the puck, too.
Oh, yep.
Calvin DeHaan complaining about his treatment with the New York Rangers. He kind of walked those back. Well, he walked it back.
Yes.
It was a little bit of an offhand comment that the reporters picked up on, so...
we had this discussion.
But, I mean, let's be real. The New York Rangers were not known for their player treatment this season either. So there might be something to that.
Agreed, but it had a little bit of a whine to it to me. And then when he walked it back, just justified where I think you're a little bit of whining. What he should have been bitching about more is how could you go from the President's Cup to missing the playoffs? That's the issue, pal. And maybe he didn't get his ice time. I don't know. Maybe he should have performed better.
He was scratched a lot.
Yeah, well, then... What are you going to do?
I don't know. It sounds like a Mike Babcock thing to do. I imagine Laviolette's not going to be back in New York, and it's going to be Tortorella there, but we'll see.
But what a fall off, eh? All the ingredients say Tortorella due to you look at the roster, their cap situation. They got draft picks this year. Which
they do.
Now, but I mean,
unless they trade him for something right away.
Possibility.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that. This is also the hardest heart race I can remember. There's 4 guys with legit claims for the award: Draisaitl, McKinnon, Hellebuck, and Kucherov. Only 3 could be finalists. Only 1 can win. Is Hellebuck the lead contender at this point?
Stop it. Okay, but I'm going to call you out in something. Beginning of the season, I said to you, is Kucherov top 5? And you said, I don't even know if he's top 10. Is that somewhere I heard somewhere? Just okay. Now we'll get back to the MVP talk.
Okay.
Just saying. You know what I mean?
I'm giving my respect to Kucherov, even though I think he's a dirty rat.
I know. See, sometimes you can't make it personal. That's what happens.
Oh, because you never do that.
Nah, I wouldn't say things like that about Marchand, would I?
But Hellebuck, he leads all goalies in wins. He's one behind the record, Brodeur's record of 48, and I guess Holtby tied that record as well. But he's one behind there, leads the league in goals against average, leads the league in shutouts, is 1 point behind Stolarz for the league lead in save percentage. That's a Hart finalist every time, sometimes a Hart winner.
Let him be a finalist.
But in the year where it's so close to call, I mean, that advantage to him just because of the amount of categories that he leads.
I think that and then all the writers are going to get together in a Shoey's type bar. And, we haven't done this since Carey Price. It's Hellebuck, man. Look at him. He's great. And I hope a couple guys are going to go, but he's American. Don't vote for him. He's American.
A lot of American writers, too.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? I feel the ball starting to roll. I wouldn't be voting for him, personally.
I still think if I had a ballot, number 1 for me would still be Draisaitl.
Oh yeah, no, just how Edmonton ended up without him, they wouldn't even got where they are at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they're already in trouble going into the playoffs. But we'll get to that. But he's my lead vote. And you know what? It's a shame because we're not talking about McKinnon, who's got early in the season when Colorado was having all that issue. He was dragging them through all of that. I think that the in and out of the lineup at the end of the year thing is kind of. Curtailed it, and he didn't get the Kucherov thing. You know what I mean?
For him, you hate to say it, but voter fatigue,
load management, all the above. Yep, I hate when it's voter fatigue part when that gets in there because that should not even be in the equation. But
agreed, but it is.
But it is.
It's a real factor.
So anyway, that's something to watch.
Hold on, and one last thing. No news coming through here at the House That Happens Newswire. Anaheim Ducks fire head coach Greg Cronin. Shouldn't be that big of a surprise considering that his players didn't like him too much. It was the word.
And so we got another guy going to Anaheim who will last 2 years.
Is someone going to figure out that team? All that young talent on there.
I know, but it's what it is.
They got the goalie now.
Yes. No, I love the goalie. What is the longest stay of a coach there in the last 20 years? 5 years, if?
I feel like Dallas Eakins was there for 5 years.
Yeah, but
it just wasn't very good.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Carlisle got his second tenure there. He got a bunch of years there. That was probably
got 3.
No, more than that.
Was it more than 3?
I want to say at least 4 or 5.
I'm going to check it later, but I don't
because after he got fired from Toronto, Anaheim picked him up right away.
Oh, yeah. No. I remember that. But I think that he's soured too.
Yeah, but he went to the conference finals twice with them.
Yeah, but that's who did they have in the lineup then?
Well, Getzlaff, Perry, Kessler.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, good players make good things happen.
Yes. So I guess we should do a little bit of cleanup for our regular season predictions.
Okay.
So Steven actually nailed it, kicked it out of the park. He got 4 seeds perfect and got 11, and he got 11 of the 16 playoff teams right.
Wow.
You got 2 seeds right in 10 total. I got 1 seed right in 9 total.
I'm saying if you did 10 or better, you did good. But Steven, big shout out.
11, yeah.
Big shout
out. And he got 4 of the seeds right on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that part.
None of us predicted the Rocket Richard, the Jennings, or the Art Ross this year. We all predicted McDavid for the Art Ross. It ended up being Kucherov. I had Pasternak. You guys both had Matthews for the Richard. It ended up being Draisaitl. I had Bobrovsky, you had Ottinger, Steven had the tandem of Markstrom and Allen to win the Jennings rather. It ended up being Hellebuck.
Yep. Okay.
We'll keep a close eye on the other awards. And also for the President's Trophy, me and Steven had Dallas, you had Toronto, ended up being Winnipeg. Not bad picks. All those teams ended up being top 4.
Yeah, 100%.
Just I very much underestimated Winnipeg. I didn't even have them in the playoffs, but huge mistake there.
You didn't have Winnipeg in the playoffs?
Neither did you.
I had Winnipeg's not in the playoffs?
You had Winnipeg out of the playoffs.
Okay, let's go. We're going to pause for a minute, so we're both going to go stand in the corner.
In the corner, yes.
You know why? Personal bias. Look how I'm talking about Hellebuck right now and all this. No, it's personal bias. Come on. Can't be doing that when you're doing things. I still thought that they'd be in a scramble, especially how they went out in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought,
and they didn't really do much in the offseason.
No, and they, you know what I'm saying, and then there's a little this rumor, that rumor, but they held it together and they're there, and I hope they have a long run because we're all about the Canadian teams here, man. And I'm not sorry. At the time, Winnipeg, you didn't give me the opportunity to respect you the way I should have.
Maybe we should have respected them a little bit more, though.
Yeah, yes.
And with that note, we'll begin with our Stanley Cup playoff preview. First up, Winnipeg versus the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis had a nice run, but I don't think the Jets will blow this. They'll do that in the next round.
Okay, so here's the scary thing. The two teams that have, actually, there's three teams that are going to have, as soon as they start the playoffs, they're going to have ghosts. And the three of them, I'll just say it now, is the Leafs, the Kings, and Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that St. Louis, hottest team since the break, Binnington saying, I'm the goalie, I'm the man. Did they run out of gas to get here?
Possibly. They did start to sputter a little bit down the stretch, like those final 5 games.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So running out of gas. And I'm just saying that the Jets have been too good for too long. Got to respect them. I think St. Louis is going to take a couple swings, but I think this series is going to be over quicker than people think.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be over 5-6 at the most.
I mean, the biggest thing is just Winnipeg's got the MVP in that.
Well,
it's Hellebuck.
He's not the MVP yet.
Well, he's playing like an MVP.
Okay, because he's got those guys in front of him. Look at the top 6 forwards we got in the defensemen, the first 2 or 3 defensemen. That's what makes me think for Winnipeg. And not only that, they could be a little tougher because they're going to run into Vegas or somebody who's going to want to bang. So they're going to have to learn to bang back. Morrissey and the boys back there can. It's the forwards sometimes I think get knocked off the puck a bit in those heavy-duty games. So Winnipeg is one of the teams that's going to try to keep it more wide open than north-south. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think it's going to be that way, but I'm still taking them to beat St. Louis.
I got the Jets in 6.
Okay.
How about you?
I'll say Jets in 5.
Jets in 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, probably the series I'm looking forward to the most in the Western Conference to start off. It's the Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. It's just wild that these two teams get to meet in round one.
So let's just say it this way. I've got a weak spot for Colorado. I just love the way they play. I love McKinnon. I like Makar. They finally got their goaltending together. I just think that there's just a weird vibe going on, especially when they got to face one of the guys that helped them win a Stanley Cup just a few years ago in Rantanen.
Yep.
Now, let's just with Sagan back. Do you see what they got going down the center? They got Duchesne.
Well, Sagan plays wing for them now, though.
Now, they'll be a winger. Yeah. But look at who they got coming down the center. Duchesne, Hintz, and Wyatt Johnson. You go around any team in the playoffs, I don't think they're that 3 deep at center.
But Dallas is missing guys. Heiskanen, we don't know when he's back.
That's the one, the big one.
And Jason Robertson is out week to week now.
Is he out week to week? Ooh, that could. I thought he'd be back quicker. Heiskanen is the bigger loss. If they had Heiskanen now, I'd say right to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I know, and he's a big question mark. We don't know if he's going to come back this series.
We don't know if he's going to come back this year.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, that's the real issue there.
But come on, Cody Ceci is going to play 20 minutes a night on this team. Ugh.
Oh, gee.
He's already played 85 games this season. 85.
That's pretty cool, don't you think?
Unless you're a Dallas fan. I'm worried that this bums on my back end.
Okay, so let's put it this way. This has got 7 games written all over it, right?
I disagree.
You think Colorado's going to win quicker?
Avalanche in 6.
Wow. Okay.
I think there's too many factors. So Rantanen, he's been good, but hasn't exactly shifted into overdrive yet. Maybe this is the right time where he's playing his old team where he can turn up a little bit here, but I think the advantage actually lies in Colorado with this situation because they know him better than, I don't know. They know how to contain him better than meanwhile, if he's trying to go around the team, he knows their system too, granted, but he's one guy. Meanwhile, it's their whole team going up against you in that regard, right?
Okay, I got what you were saying there, so that's all right. You take him out of the picture, and I still...
Ottinger's been hot and cold coming down the stretch.
Oh, so is Blackwood. But okay.
But Colorado's been resting more guys, though.
Possibility. I'm just saying I'm going to go with the Duchesne.
And Colorado's got a better fallback option in net than Dallas. If Ottinger goes down, you're fucked.
Agree. I agree with that. There's no doubt about that. But I just think that after you get about the top 6 on the Colorado's lineup, who they got after that? Their bottom six is nobody. I looked over in the lineup. I'm going,
Well, their center depth, I actually think it's better now than it was when they won the Cup. I'd rather have Nelson and Coyle than Kadri and Newhook.
Ooh, interesting. I'd rather put Kadri into that mix, though. But I know what you're saying.
But him and Newhook versus Coyle and Brock Nelson, I take what they have now.
Yeah.
There's the Landeskog effect of him coming back. That's going to fire up the boys. Could potentially carry them to a Game 1 victory tonight.
When's the last time Dallas Stars lost in the first round of playoffs?
They're due.
And you're changing my mind a bit because I'm forgetting about a couple other, like Coyle's really fit in with them well.
Yep.
And Buddy that came from Carolina,
Nations.
He's looked great.
It's like Rantanen never left.
Exactly, but that's the top six. After you get after that, they got a bunch of freaking Yamrocks and what's his name? No disrespect, but you know what I mean.
Don't lie. That was meant to be disrespectful.
I'm just saying, like their bottom six.
Oh come on, they got Ross Colton on the third line. Come on.
Okay.
No, that guy's clutch. He had some big moments for Tampa in the playoffs, too. Their defense is solid as ever, man.
That's what I'm saying. Their defense is a little deeper than... So that's going to be... Is it going to be... And now here's the other thing you got to look at, too, is that what scares me is that Carolina's power play is special
Colorado,
teams.
you mean?
Yeah. Special teams is huge in this, okay?
Yes.
Colorado's top 5 power play, I do believe. Dallas is nowhere to be found in the top of the power play because it doesn't work. But their penalty kill is top 3. So that's going to be, is that a soft?
I don't know.
I was coming into this saying Dallas, and now you got me thinking Colorado. And I'm just saying I want to go 7 games because Peter DeBoer's record in Game 7s is 8-0.
I don't think it's going to get there.
That's what I'm hoping. But you know what? What a record, though. 8-0 in Game 7s.
Insane.
Wow.
Insane. Not bad for a coach that's a bum. Drouin's been a great fit for Colorado. Nichushkin, he's going to be the real X factor here.
Yes, he is. As long as he's not drinking.
Let's not go there.
And Drouin has played... I got a Hab jersey with Drouin on it. I thought I would never wear it because that schmucked. But I like the fact that he's pulled up his socks and found a way to be a credible player in this league on a Stanley Cup contender. So can I say that about Drouin?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm glad to see, a guy can, through all adversity gets here. So who are you saying?
Colorado in 6.
I don't speak English. Next.
Got pick.
Oh, shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to, okay, you know what you do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach into my pocket.
Oh my God, it's flip a coin time.
I'm going to flip a coin. If it's tails, I'm taking Colorado. See, the hockey god said go with my pick, Dallas. I took Dallas in 7. I'm staying Dallas in 7.
Wow.
Dallas in 7.
All right, so next up, we have the Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild. First off, Eichel, very, very underrated season with the Golden Knights.
Why were we talking about him more? He's 3 degrees away from MVP talk. If we talk about his two-way play,
yes, sir.
If we talk about his plus-minus. He's
his
been
playmaking.
Playmaking. He's on the penalty kill sometimes. When I've seen him out there, they got him like it's a second pair in the penalty kill. Number 1 on the power play. Come on. The guy's had a great... What do you have? Did you get 100 points? Did he get the 100?
I believe he was just short. Let me quickly check on that. But a tremendous season either way for Jack Eichel. Sorry, Buffalo, for your luck.
But that's Buffalo's situation here,
He finished with 94 points.
Okay, 94. Yeah, I didn't think he quite got to 100.
But top 10 in scoring.
Oh, yeah, top 10, 100%. Great plus-minus. No, he was great. Like, seriously, he was very, very, very good. I was impressed. I think that top 9...
I was going to say, Vegas has tremendous depth at every position. Maybe goaltending a little bit, not so much, but like forward and D, they're set.
If I was them, I wouldn't be worried about it. Their goaltending. I think they got enough up in front of them that they're going to keep the shots low.
The thing is, though, okay, so Aiden Hill had that rough start. He has steadied down the season.
Yes.
But this is by far the most game he started and played in his career. So he had 50 games played this year.
Perfect.
His previous career high was 35.
That's okay. He's only, what,
This
26?
is uncharted territory. And his backup, Samsonov,
Okay, he's your old boy. But anyways, I'm saying, no, I wouldn't worry about it because like they were saying, let's go to the Martin Brodeur school. You should be playing 50 games, be ready for the
but
playoffs.
Brodeur, they worked him into that rule.
He's getting there. He would have had
going
more.
from but
what
like
did
going
he have
from 30
2 years ago? I think he had 40 starts because last year he got
his
hurt.
previous career high was 35, and he got 50 this year
because he was hurt last year. That's
Yes.
why he missed games. He would have got 50 last year. Remember
But
he
he
had that little
didn't.
stretch? Okay.
But he didn't.
I'm going. I think he'll be fine.
I think that's going to bite Vegas more later in the playoffs.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to hurt them this round. Like, especially for Minnesota, it was a trudge for them in the second half of the season. Only West playoff team with a negative goal differential.
What's that?
Minnesota was the only Western playoff team with a negative goal differential.
That's why they're going to be gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. If they
Knights
win
in
a
5.
game, what?
Knights in 5.
4.
Whoa, you're calling a sweep.
Sweep. Yeah. Sorry, Minnesota went right off the cliff. And then they lost a couple of players to injury. They've never been the same. Earlier in the year, I thought they were going to be a good, like they're going to be look, I'm calling them 4 straight.
They were a fixture of the power rankings.
No kidding. And not only that, if I was going back to January, I would have said they were tough out in the playoffs. Now look what I'm calling them, 4 out. No.
Then I got them in 5 out.
Yeah, okay, they're gone. Like something happened to the team. Injuries, I don't know.
A lot of injuries.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the main thing that really killed them.
And they didn't have the depth because of their salary cap situation. Now next season they're going to be able to fix that. The law cap's going to open up for them, but for now, sorry, Minnesota. Sorry, Stefan, if you're listening. My buddy was a Wild fan.
I'm going to put it this way. They're going to be back in the playoffs next year in a better position. That's how I look at it already.
They very well should be.
And it's too bad their season. Yeah, and if you look at the depth of the age of the depth of their lineup, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
I did notice that. So, but bye-bye. Thanks for coming out. Their teams are going to be gone in the first round. The Timberwolves.
and the Wild.
Buy your Twins tickets, and they got a TFC team. I mean, they got a soccer team too.
Yeah, they're playing TFC today.
Yes, they do.
And maybe the Vikings can actually do something this year.
Fuck the Vikings here. We're not talking about fuck the Vikings, man. I don't talk about them.
So we're talking about the Twins, but not Anyways,
Vikings.
This division
Vikings.
rival, but not that one. Whatever.
Sorry, son, but no Vikings.
LA
Just gotta shiver.
The Los Angeles Kings against the Edmonton Oilers. Do the Kings finally do it? It's been getting worse for them. They lost in 7, then they lost in 6. Last year they lost in 5. Are they going to get swept this year? No, probably not.
No.
But you seem to be up on LA.
I just think that Edmonton, I'm going to go with the theory, if you lose in the finals, shit happens. Panthers are the only one to break that streak in, I think, about the last 10, 12 years.
Well, in Tampa Bay.
What?
And Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But they went to the finals and came back and won, right?
Yeah, they won back-to-back. And they went to the finals again the next year.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But they went 1-1, and then they went back. Then they went to the finals one more year, and then what happened the year after that? They got knocked out in the first round by Toronto.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm saying. Usually, what ends up happening, the only one that's beaten that theory is Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like if you lose in the final, then you usually this what happens. They're gonna have a step back.
Oh, right.
So I'm thinking that Edmonton will take the step back. I think LA is a solid. Look at their lineup. They got a solid.
Oh, they seem to have the advantage at every position. I got you, but the Oilers have McDavid and Draisaitl.
Okay, so
that's the argument.
Okay, so I'm going to bet against McJesus, and I hope Jesus doesn't think I'm a jerk now. But I'm going with LA because I think the home advantage. LA has freaking been amazing at home, and earlier in the season they were a good battle on the road. I think they're deep enough to beat them. Like unless Evander Kane's going to come back out and everybody's going to be playing.
Well,
100%.
the Oilers don't have Ekholm. That's going to be a big plus for LA.
There you go. Yeah. There's another guy gone there. You know, and is their goaltending going to hold up? Who's starting? Picton or what's his name? Skinner. Yeah. So I'm taking all the factors in. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut. This is LA's time.
Also, we should mention big shout out
for the Canadian team, though. But I'm saying LA. Doughty, let's go.
We should also mention a big shout out for Jeff Skinner, who's going to play his first ever playoff game.
What?
Think about the teams he's been with. Carolina, they were garbage when he was there. Buffalo,
How many years has he been in the league?
I believe 2009 was his draft year.
So you're saying from 2009, he's never played in the playoffs?
Yep.
You're kidding me. Did he play with Pittsburgh?
No.
They were shit then?
They never played with Pittsburgh.
Okay, who the other team did he go for?
Carolina, Buffalo, who am I missing?
And never made the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's ruthless. I feel for the guy. I really do.
I was beginning to think it might never happen.
And guess what? He'll be out in the first round?
No, because Oilers are going to win in 7.
Oh.
Just Carolina, Buffalo going into this year.
Wow. And none of them made the playoffs?
Yeah, Carolina was bad when he played with them.
Jesus.
2010 was his draft year, by the way, so yeah.
Jesus feels sorry for him.
I got Oilers in 7. You got Kings in
6.
Kings in 6.
Yeah, gonna hurt them in Edmonton. Sorry to say that, Edmonton fans. Sorry to say that, Stretty.
So we'll move this over to the Eastern Conference, where the Washington Capitals, the first place in the East Washington Capitals, will play your Montreal Canadiens.
Just think about this, okay? This is the greatest upset alert ever, okay? Let's just talk about. Give me a second here, okay?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I'm very happy that the Habs are in, okay? So let's put it this way. This is the greatest upset alert ever because I think Montreal is very good at playing against that crazy forecheck because they just come back out spinning and go. So they are a good team. They play good against the forecheck, okay? When they got to do that up and down against Toronto and you cut us off, we have a little bit of issue because Washington comes at you in waves. Right. Florida comes at you in waves. We seem to be able to, we just come out and go because of our young defensemen and the way that we play. Montembeault could stand on his head, and it looks like we got a kid that can score in the demigod. We have a history of rookies just showing up in the playoffs and doing weird shit. Washington has a history, except for their 1 year winning the Stanley Cup, blowing it early, especially in Ovechkin's career. Maybe they have a hangover for Ovechkin doing such an amazing job in breaking the Gretzky record that I say that Washington wins in 6.
Yeah, so the only argument against Washington is that they may have lost their focus because of that Ovechkin record, but it happened far enough back where I think they got back on track, basically. And we talked about these former Capitals teams that were first place teams that blew in the first round. Those teams were built very differently. Didn't have as strong goaltending. Weren't as strong on defense. Weren't as deep on forward.
Tom Wilson and Carlson are going to stand up in the dressing room and said, listen, Ovi's having a coke rake now. Don't worry about that. You guys tie your skates. This is the playoffs. This new season. Remember we had a taste last year? We weren't quite ready, but now we're going to come back.
Pierre-Luc Dubois staying out of trouble.
Oh, the whole 9 yards. And it's a drag we're playing. If we beat them, I won't be surprised. Yes, I will be. But no, I think Washington in the season, I look how they played all season. Look at their metrics. You know, they're solid in goal. They got good defensemen. They hit, and they forecheck, and they got deep scoring. It's going to be very hard for Montreal to beat these guys, but I think we're going to win a couple. I think the demigod's going to show that he's got a future, but we'll be hard-pressed to beat him. I got to say Washington in 6. I hate to say it, only because I would always say Montreal's going to win in 7, but I always make those things when you look at your record down the road. Why is your percentage so bad, Cruz? Because I do things like just say Montreal's going to win. Just because I want them to win when it's not realistic.
So with the Habs, they were the only Eastern playoff team with a negative goal differential.
According to me, I didn't want to bring that up, by the way, because you know what I say about that. Remember last year I was screaming all the right.
About Washington.
Oh, yeah, bye-bye. You guys are out of here quickly. And when I looked at it, I go, I wonder if that's going to come up this year. You had to bring it up, didn't you? Yeah, that's huge there. That's huge right there. That's my number one criterion. You come into the playoffs with a negative goal differential, you're going home. Oh, have I ever said that before?
And the Habs have been very streaky this year. Oh. But they're a scrappy team, which will win a couple games, most likely games 3 and 4 in Montreal, if I had to bet. I think this is the kind of series where the home team takes the first 4 games, so it's going to be 2-0 Caps, then Caps are going to come back to tie it, but then once they get back to Washington for game 5, it's going to be Caps are going to be like, no, boys, let's close this out, and they take it in 6.
I got a different take on it. I think Montembeault is going to have a game.
In Washington?
Steal a game in Washington.
Not the craziest thing.
Yeah, steal a game there. And then Montreal will do that thing where we win in Washington. We're not expected. We'll be going back to game 6, and everyone will be talking about, see, we just got to get it to game 7. We're going to do it. We got it to game 6. Somehow, someway, we're going to get to game 6, and Washington's going to show their depth and their scoring, and they're going to beat us in the Bell Center.
Ooh.
I smell it.
Hopefully it's not too ugly. And big shout out to Savard, who will retire at the end of the playoffs.
Yes. So
David Savard.
He's had a great career. I think he's past his best before date. Has he talked to his teammate about Matheson about considering doing the same?
No, he's a lot younger.
I know that. And you know what? I've seen the metrics on Matheson in the last 10 games. He has played better. But
I don't know, sounds like fool's gold.
But that's what I said. No. I heard he works for Pizza. That's what I heard. Part-time. Makes me nervous, you know. But all our other boys are hitting. The big question is, Aberjackie going to start?
Yeah, I imagine yes, but I mean,
it's going to be him or Struble. Is Struble played that much better?
Really?
Has he played that much?
I don't know, flip a coin like you did for that Dallas-Colorado series.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like, who is better? I think that I think he will start the first game just so they don't let the Tom Wilsons and that big guy that plays defense and that other winger come into our zone and start knocking people around. Even though we got Gooley and we've got Gooley and and Struble both hitting people, which just gives me a little thing before I get off the Montreal thing, because I got to say this, bro, and right on the air, because this is something that pisses me off an awful lot. Domi jumping off the bench last week coming after Gooley was fucking bogus, and you know it. He should have got a 10-minute misconduct. Shit should have happened, man. Why? Because Gooley hit two of your guys clean? Was Gooley in the penalty box for any of those hits?
No.
They were in open ice, guys' heads down. What did Gooley do? Welcome to the NHL. Tavares looked too late.
Yeah.
Because, Tavares said, oh, shit. It was one of those for him, When he hit Buddy, though, Buddy was clean. He had his head down doing the junior A move. Look, I got the puck. Bang. And you know what? Gooley's getting people's attention now doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's getting to be known. I don't think he's a headhunter, but... But my point being is... That's what I hate about in the NHL. And of course, we're going to see none of that in the playoffs now.
Yeah, of course
because
not.
Everybody wants to do this and that, which just makes sometimes things in sports fraudulent. Bullshit. Is WrestleMania tonight?
Who cares?
Yeah, well, that's no.
I'll be watching Winnipeg then Colorado. So.
Oh, me too. I don't even know. I hope my son listens so I can make fun of it. But
so we're both on Caps and 6.
Oh yeah, both on the Caps and 6, and Domi, and I'm a Domi guy. Just pissed me off. Okay, next.
Carolina versus New Jersey. Carolina has New Jersey's number in the playoffs historically, 4-1 all time. And every time these two teams have played each other in the playoffs, the winner has gone to at least the conference final. 2001, 2002, 06, 09, and 13. And 3 of those times they went to the final.
Wow. Good research, bro. I know.
Although it's been since 2006 since one of these teams has gone to the finals after playing each other. But yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's get to right here, right now.
New Jersey's been far from convincing the second half of the season, much like Minnesota, were fixtures of the power ranking first half, but then second half nowhere to be seen. New Jersey tied with Montreal for the lowest point total of any playoff team, which was very surprising since we had very high hopes for New Jersey coming in.
The injuries got them there, but they're going to be really... Hughes was a huge loss. We can't deny that. But the teams have been steady here. But I'm looking at it this way.
Their goaltending hasn't been as strong as maybe they would have liked.
Mm-hmm, but then you're going to say the same thing about Carolina's. They're going to say, can you take us through? But here's the big thing that I'm saying. Carolina is the best 5-on-5 team in the NHL, by the way. Nobody on 5-on-5, they are easily the best. So that just takes an advantage they have over New Jersey right there, whose goal differential is what? Barely over the fact that they're not a negative. So when you got a team playing like that 5-on-5, you're pretty good. Then who's gonna? The thing is like who's gonna score on their team as opposed who we know is gonna score on Jersey. There's a little bit.
So the Devils are plus 20 goal differential, so not that bad.
Yeah, they were way up there before. Okay, so here's the thing that makes it really interesting. When we're talking about one of the differentials is special teams. Freaking Jersey's top 3 and everything, top 5. Penalty killing, power play.
5-on-5 there.
That's what I'm saying. So that Carolina is so much
too, aren't they?
What's that?
They're down guys too.
They're down Hughes and a defenseman. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just
they're limping down the stretch though.
Who, Jersey?
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the fact that if the game gets a little bit wide open, which I think Carolina's going to let them go, because I have Carolina, but look at this. If you start looking at though, Jersey is the top thing. They've got Markstrom and Allen as goaltenders, which is much better than Carolina's. Then they got Pratt, Heischesser, and what's his name? Theo Meyer is starting to score now. Who's going to score in Carolina? Aho and Seth Jarvis?
They're a Lego team.
That's the thing about them. They're the biggest Lego team in the league. That's why the 5-on-5. I was leaning towards Jersey. I was leaning towards Carolina. Now that here comes, we're at the crux of the biscuit again. I wasn't sure because I looked at all the metrics and I was saying this is an easy win for Carolina. Then I look back at it since they've been without Jack Hughes, and you know what they've been doing down the stretch? I know they lost a few games. They've been doing load management like mofos. Look at Jersey's lineup in the last 6 or 6. Because where could they go?
That can bite you in the ass, though. Rust versus rust, right?
Or John Tavares getting 10 days off and coming back and being the best scorer in the league. Yeah, it works too.
But
They seem to have
that wasn't before playoffs, though.
Okay, so coming down the stretch, and I thought when they lost a couple games, you see who's out of the lineup. Where's Jersey been since about the 10 games left in the season? They weren't going up and they weren't going down. They were in that purgatory, right?
Yeah, but their standing was already kind of set, though.
Yeah, so what they did was they played with their lineup for the rest of the year. Is that going to play well against Carolina? I'm not sure. But the metrics say that they're going to be a tougher out than I thought.
I think Carolina is actually poised for a run this year.
Really?
Yeah. Don't be surprised if they go to the conference final.
Well, I'm taking Carolina in 7.
I'm taking Carolina in 5.
Wow.
I'm not giving Jersey much of a chance.
Okay. So
you got them in 7, you said?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
We will save the main event for last, I suppose.
Yes.
But next up, Tampa Bay versus Florida. Rematch of the Battle of Florida for the first time last year. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those series where they split the first 2 in Tampa. They split the second 2 in Sunrise, and then the home team takes games 5, 6, and then it just comes down to game 7.
So that means it looks like Tampa Bay's going to win it.
I didn't say the home team takes game 7.
I'm going to say Tampa's going to win it. This is why. First of all, so that Kucherov can piss in your coffee. Other starters, because that's what it'd be like for you. Number 2 is, I hate
both these teams, so
that's what I'm saying. I got no love for them either. But look,
I'd rather Tampa Bay win because the Leafs have their number. So
okay, well, Ekbland's not going to be back until game 3.
Yeah,
and we're going to see how well he's going to be playing when he does come back.
How effective is Tkachuk going to be when he comes back?
Oh, part 2, Sam Bennett's been banged up a bit, so he's going to be coming back. The top 6 on Tampa, bro, and even their third line checking line. Whoa, come on, look who they got come at you. They got what? Gensel. Who else? Well, we'll just start with Kucherov.
Kucherov, Point.
Brandon Point.
Yeah. Braden Point,
yeah. And then they got that Cicerelli. What is his name? That Cirelli guy?
Cirelli, yeah.
That line with a bunch of them going. Hedman holding down the back end.
Hagel,
Hagel's
the top 10 scorer this year.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You got all that scoring going on. And listen, this is the 3rd year in a row for them going to the finals. And we see 3rd year in a row for going through this. And you know what happened? Tampa Bay got there, but they lost. But the bottom line is, look at all the injuries they've had, the shenanigans that the Tkachuk and Bennett were doing, all their tough guy stuff at Team Canada. They're all beat up. Ekland's not going to be back. Bobrovsky's going to have the greatest series of his life to get through. I can't see this is the end of the road for Florida for me. I think Tampa Bay is sneaking up on people. Like they didn't get the respect that they deserved, and now they're coming. They're looking for blood. Kucherov's got a freaking knife in his back pocket. You see him playing?
We know that.
He got a knife in his back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Florida, like the amount of games they played, that's the real.
Yes.
That's a huge X factor. Where when's this house of cards finally going to collapse?
That's what I'm thinking myself. You know what I mean? And you know another thing is that Tampa Bay is fast enough. Did you see them play last week when they played? Florida was going out of their way to try to show their physicality again. And guess what? Tampa Bay skated underneath it till they got to the blue line, and then Hedman and McDonough hit everything that came over the line, just to let you know we can hit back too. And who's that other big defenseman on Tampa Bay? He was hitting everybody in sight. I'm not saying their forwards are all like
Cernak, you talking about?
Yeah, he was knocking guys around. So they're going to protect their front end, because you're not going to expect Hagel and Gunsel and Kucherov and all these guys, Braden Point. They're all tough guys, and tough in that they're not going to get knocked off the puck.
Yeah.
But they're not tough where they're going to try to drive you through the board shit.
No, that's not their game.
You know what I mean? But they skate under that heavy duty shit, and they know Florida very well. And I just think all the metrics say it's going to be a close series, but I say Tampa Bay wins it.
I got Florida in 7.
I got Tampa in 7.
Okay. I like how we're both on opposite sides of this one.
And we don't like either other team. Neither one of us likes either team.
No, if my biggest hope is that they just both beat the crap out of each other for these 7 games.
That sounds like Toronto. That sounds like the whole goddamn city. Okay, everywhere I go,
good. That means we're passionate.
Every pundit, every grandmother, every gas station attendant. Because you know why? You guys are scared. You're scared, as Will Baum would say. You guys are scared. I'm like, we got Ottawa. We're good. We got Ottawa. We're good. I've already told the old lady we we checked the date for like game 7. If there's a game 7, we've already got our emergency bag packed. a place to go. We'll be out of town.
Okay, well, let's just get right to it then. Toronto and Ottawa. You won't have to worry about that.
I hope not.
Brady Tkachuk, Tom and Huck, Uncle Buck, Donald Druck driving a Cybertruck. Don't matter. Leafs in 4.
Leafs in 4. I love that. I'm saying I love that. Way to say it. I think it's going to be a quick series, too. Regardless of what everybody's saying.
Why is everyone sucking Ottawa's dick coming into this
why
series? Because they're playing the Leafs?
No, because it's the same shit. Like, you remember, well, I guess, when's the last time they played? 2004?
Yeah.
20 years ago, bro.
But everyone's like calling Ottawa to win this. I'm like,
who? Why?
All these people on like SportsCenter or whatever, they're all like saying Ottawa's going to win this.
That's
because they're Toronto haters?
No, because they're trying to do reverse jinx. Come on, man. You see, you know why? Because Ottawa.
But these aren't Toronto people saying it.
Okay, but look, you know why? Because Ottawa had that winning record against Toronto this year. Let's think of some of the circumstances of which they were there. People were injured. One was on a back-to-back. One was off a road trip.
It's regular season.
Yeah.
2001, Ottawa won every game against Toronto in the regular season. And what happened in the playoffs?
Okay,
Toronto swept them.
Okay, and that's 24 years ago. I want to talk about right now. I've seen Ottawa play. I like their back end. I like their kids on defense. Sanderson's had a good season. Okay, you know what I mean? Shabbat's pretty solid. You know what I mean? They're going to have guys going to go.
Shabbat's a little bit of a mort, but whatever.
Well, that's another story.
He's good when he's not hitting his teammates in the head with a stick.
Okay, whatever the case may be. We got that there.
He had a little bit of a stupid moment recently against the Leafs, too, where like he swung his stick, like breaking against the post, and like Riley was like just came by. It's like, like,
but he's a loose cannon that way sometimes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Good skater.
He is a good skater. I'd make some questionable moves, though.
Yes. But here is the bottom line for me. Here's what I'm going to say why you guys should win. First of all, Ottawa has no experience. You know what I mean? And I know that Tkachuk is 100% the leader, but he's going to run around and take stupid penalties and try to win it for himself. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to fuck it up, kid. Allmark could steal a game.
His playoff record is terrible, though.
There you go. And so, but he could steal a game, but I'm not expecting
the Leafs have already beaten him in the playoffs one game, so...
that's why I'm getting to this is not going to be a long series. I just don't see it happening. But this is not only that. Unfortunately, after you got to look, and let me go to my theory. Keep the lines, frickin' Berube. First 3 lines, don't fuck with it. And don't be mad because you traded at the deadline and the guy's now your 4th line center. He'll be very effective there.
Lawton?
Yeah.
I'm happy with him. He got the winner in the finale against Detroit. I could not be happier with Lawton.
I thought you'd be happy with that. And if he's your guy that's going to come out and play for the 4th line for you, and he's going to penalty check, and he's tough, and he's got playoff experience, what more do you want from the guy? I think he's still a good pickup. I thought you didn't need him. I go, why'd you have to go with that guy? What did you need him for? But now that
you never have too much depth at center.
Never too much depth at center. And if that's your guy coming up,
he's on contract for a couple more years, or at least next year.
And he's not going to be playing on the 4th line all the time.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just circumstances, situation right there, which is a good luxury to have. Not only that, your top 4 defensemen from a defensive metric as good as any top 4 defenseman in the league right now.
I'll take my top 5 against anyone in the league.
Or maybe top 5.
Yeah.
They take it one step further.
Only question there is like McCabe looks like he's going to come back, but Ekman Larson's still a question mark for game 1.
Really?
But I don't think that's too much of an issue because I think Philip Myers on that bottom pair, if we got to play him there, we'll be fine.
He'll be okay. They just got to put the governor on him.
The governor.
That means you see him going up there. He loves to break in on the play, right? I like that about him, but then all of a sudden there's nobody in the back end. He's got to remember that because he's got some offensive skills.
The goal he scored against Detroit the other night, and I was like, where did this come from?
And there you go. But I'm saying he's got moves. He could do it, but he's just got to remember the back end. So who's going to be playing with?
I imagine he'd be with Benoit in the 3rd pair.
That's a scary 3rd pair.
They played pretty well together this year, though, I thought.
But I like both guys. I like Benoit better. But
you just got to make sure that the other guy's staying back and you have another forward circling back as well.
So Berube will be talking about that to him. You know, because I like Benoit. Benoit's been a little reckless at times.
The Leafs have been good with having
way.
Yeah, but and like the Leafs have been good with having that forward circle back to cover our defense this year as well. So I don't think that's really an issue.
That's really, really good, and hence the reason you got those 2 guys that look like the table hockey game coming up. They saved those in Yamrock and what's the other guy? Yamrock.
Holmberg?
And Holmberg. You know what I mean?
Big game Holmberg.
And you know what? That's the only thing that I think is weird about your team is who plays on the wing with Nylander and Tavares. That's the weird part for you guys because you can't break up that McCain, Domi, Robertson. You just can't. Every time they break him up, everyone looks weird. You put him back together.
Part of me thinks they might try Pacioretty back there.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Like
now
game one even.
Yeah, it's coming.
Maybe.
But so who sits then? If it's game one and Pacioretty's in the lineup and I see Robertson in the press box, I'm going to go what?
I think they're keeping Robertson on the third line.
Okay, but what are they going to do about Kampf now?
Put him in the lineup.
I think they could use
him, Lawton, and like Lorentz is your third line.
No, that's what I'm saying. So then he'd go over and
or
play
your
a
fourth
wing.
line, excuse
fourth
me.
line, he'd go play on the wing, right?
Yeah, but he can take some key save face-offs.
I think that would. Yeah, I like that a lot.
He's looked good as a right winger. So
yes, and Lorentz is looking good as that guy that's not afraid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's trying to move up in the scale of things. So all this is what we're talking about. I can't see who says Ottawa is going to win unless you're just a complete hater. Like, come on. I'll hate on Toronto later. Not right now.
The one thing, Cousins hasn't been great so far for Ottawa, but
there's another thing.
Well, hold on. No, that makes me think he's going to break out soon. So don't be surprised if he does get a couple goals this series. In fact, I would say bet on it. That's my Andrew Key, bet prediction of the series. And I do think Ottawa will come out really strong in one of the games, probably take one game to overtime. Wouldn't surprise me if that's how game one turns out.
I'm looking at it this way. If Stutzel and Pinto can put a little pressure, if they can stay him out there, but they got to go against Matthews and Tavares most of the time. Yeah. I think Kachuk's going to be out there trying to muck it up with Matthews, but Matthews don't worry about that shit. He lets it go.
He knows all of his tricks.
No kidding in that. And he's the same size. So, you know what? When you ever see Matthews when he gets knocked off his feet, someone's usually kicking at his feet to get him over. They're just not driving. When I got knocked over the other night, then I realized the guy kind of slow-footed him with the stick. Yeah. And he went to go, how did Matthews go down? And I looked at it and I went, that was kind of cheesy, buddy. That was what you call clean. Yeah. But I see this over in 5.
5 games? I got Leafs in 4. I think this is going to be a sweep.
I don't know if it'll be a sweep, bro. Might steal one. The Ottawa crowd's going to be crazy for one game, and then the Leafs will take over for the second playoff game.
I'm trying to go to one of these games in this series. That's still up in the air.
What are the ticket prices like? What we get in?
It's actually more expensive to go in Ottawa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Why?
Because they're jumping through all the hoops to try and keep Leaf fans away, making sure that people don't resell the tickets.
Oh, okay.
Like on Ticketmaster, you can actually not resell these tickets.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're finding ways to block it, which Leaf fans are still going to find a way in there. So
there's going to be a broker somewhere somehow. That's going to be going out there, because I expect to see a lot more Leaf fans in Ottawa than Sens fans in Toronto.
Yes, absolutely.
I just got that feeling. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Ottawa fans now. You know what I mean? We're not doing that.
No. So let's do a little bit of a fun little. Predict the rest of the playoffs right now. So for the Atlantic Division, my second round would be Toronto, Florida. You have Toronto, Tampa. How do you see that one going?
Toronto will beat Tampa.
How many games?
Oh, that'll probably in 6.
Yeah.
They'll wear them down.
I'm going to say I picked Florida, but I think they'll do it. I think Florida's just going to break down. Marchand's going to fuck things up somehow. I don't know.
We had to bring up his name, didn't we?
I had to.
I ran around him. I think he looks past his best before date. Yeah. Some shifts the other night against Tampa, you notice him. In other shifts, he's just getting.
What do I say? The skates go before the hands?
In some respects, yes, you do. I give you that point.
Next round, we both have Washington, Carolina. I have Carolina winning this one in a 7-game series. I think that's going to be tough.
I say Washington.
How many games?
7.
Okay. So we both think it's going 7. Winnipeg. I have Winnipeg, Colorado. You have Winnipeg, Dallas. I would have Colorado in 6.
I'd have Dallas in 6.
Okay.
Maybe 7.
The next round, I have Vegas, Edmonton. You have Vegas, LA.
Vegas.
Yeah, that's
Vegas gonna be Vegas.
That's gonna be like Vegas, maybe even in 5. I could see them beating Edmonton.
Vegas is just ready to start. They get the doors open, let the horses go.
So conference finals, you have Toronto, Washington.
How did I get to that mess?
Feels like it's not legal.
I don't know, because first of all, I was always saying about the hangover from getting the gold. I'm gonna ride it with it. I'm gonna go with the Russian to go to the finals, because I don't see the Leafs winning the cup, bro. Sorry, it's coming out of the West. Do you think your team's gonna win this year?
They're
have some balls. You're from Vaughan. You're Italian. Come on.
Some like dark witch magic's going to get the Leafs to the finals this year.
They got to be. Dude, they haven't been in the finals since '67, right?
Yep.
That's insane.
We're due. We're due.
You're way due. You're way due. So that means that I'll be saying Vegas beats Dallas.
Okay, I would say Colorado beats Vegas.
And then Colorado wins the cup, or you say Toronto going to beat Colorado?
That's going to be a great 7-game series either way. That's just going to be a treat for the fans.
You know why you can't say Toronto's going to win? Because it's called reverse jinx. You're just thinking of that whole prospect and you're going, what? Oh, my God. What did I just say? That can't be for real. Am I dreaming? Wake up. Oh, I was snoring.
No, Colorado's already had their cup. We're going to get ours.
You're going to get it this year, you think so?
Why not?
We're fist pumping right now. I'm hoping for him. I think everyone's going to be there. I just see something happening in Toronto that's going to be, I don't know.
So
I'm in Vegas. I got Vegas going to win it. I think Vegas going to win it.
Vegas, Washington you have, right?
Yeah, but I think, yeah.
The rematch.
Yeah. So I think that's, yeah, they're going to be back. Vegas, to me, they're just saying, are we at the playoffs yet? You know, look at the last few games. Is it the playoffs yet? And
goaltending is the one thing for me.
But they're healthy as hell.
Yeah.
They're big. They're flying all over the ice. They got experience. And teams do that. They win, they fall down a year, and then they come back and win again.
That's true.
That's the pattern that happens a lot.
Colorado, you could say that about them too as well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're going to be in that pattern. I think it's coming out of the West, the winner. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless those guys beat the hell out of each other so badly that they're wore out.
Which is possible.
Which is a very realistic possibility the way it's going to go. I just think we're going to see some high end, as usual, especially in the first round, in the first couple games as usual. Because I think the pace of the games, I think right now, the best pace in the first round is either going to be Colorado and Dallas or Montreal and Washington. Montreal's going to skate their asses off to try to beat them. But, you know, Toronto's going to play their style against Ottawa. It'll take a while to get going. Florida's going to play their style against Tampa. You know what I mean? That kind of shit's going to go on. L.A. and Edmonton are going to freaking pussyfoot their way around. Vegas is just going to keep steamrolling over everybody. So, like, I'm going to be looking for the pace of games. And I'm of the belief that in the last couple of years, in the first round, the pace of the games were mad. I don't know if we're going to get that all the time because I think some of the teams are too domineering.
I don't know. Like, it's the first round. Teams are going to be fired out of a cannon. I think
you're always going to get that for the first couple of games. I just hope it's be able to sustain itself for 7 games. I think the greater games we are going to see later on because we got to get people out of the way in the first round just like they got to do in the NBA. You know what I mean? But I do think the first round games in the NHL will be better than some of the the first round games in the NBA.
The first round of the NHL, like Stanley Cup playoffs, always
is very much fun.
Yeah. And NBA usually takes a bit to ramp up.
Yeah, and the Charles Barkley, he'll be saying it already. You could be people watching those NHL playoffs now. I love when he's doing that, eh? He amps it up. Wonder if he'll get to a game.
Probably Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's
buddies with John Cooper, right?
Yep, so as long as they're winning, he'll get his way down there. And I like that they expose the game like that.
Absolutely. And TNT carries it as well, so
yes.
A little extra exposure there. We'll move it to our picks. So for the regular season series, I beat you 13 weeks to 9. We had 3 ties. Overall, I beat you 191 to 167. Your win percentage was 50.9. Mine was 58.2.
Both brutal when you think about it. Should be 60.
If we're picking I got close to 60.
Yeah,
we're picking every game. Yeah.
You know you're good. And then I'm telling you, I'll take 10% of the stupid picks that I made. Just add that on there. I'll remember that next year because I just made brutal picks just trying to jump shit. And then I'd look at the scores and go, I picked that. 4-0 after the first period. Going, I picked that. Okay, don't be stupid.
So this time around, we're going to do our weekend playoff picks. So we're going to pick every game, not just for Saturday, but for Sunday as well, since it's some pretty short slates, obviously, because there's not many games left in the playoffs. So 2 games on the docket for today. We have St. Louis at Winnipeg and Colorado at Dallas. I have Winnipeg winning game 1 at home, and I have Colorado stealing game 1 in Dallas.
I'm going to pick the same.
Winnipeg and Colorado?
Yep.
Oh, so you think it's going to be...
No, Winnipeg and Dallas. Dallas winning the first game at home. Sorry.
Okay. Then tomorrow we have New Jersey at Carolina. I'm going to choose Carolina to win game 1.
I'm going to get the whole world's going to be scared and say Jersey will steal that game in overtime and scare them, and then they'll roll over them after that.
Okay. I got
Montreal for the upset in overtime in Washington.
Don't play tomorrow.
Don't they play Monday?
I guess, Monday is game 1.
I thought we had tomorrow game 1.
Nope.
Oh, the Leafs.
Tomorrow.
Oh, right. Yeah, Montreal.
So, Monday. Ottawa at Toronto. I'm going to choose Toronto to win at home. Possibly in overtime as well.
No. Leafs will put it away in third period.
You think so?
Yeah.
I know. I think Ottawa's going to...
5-2.
Wow.
Some
I hope so.
Yep.
And last but not least, Minnesota at Vegas. I think Vegas wipes the floor with Minnesota game 1.
5-1, 6-2. Yeah.
So we are on the same page for 3 of the 5 games. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
And I guess that moves us into our final segment, trivia and closing, where we have a wonderful trivia question set up by Steven.
Again, trivia questions are always great, kid. They're always good. I love the timing of the show today, too.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
I thought we were going to be here for like 5 hours.
No, because I had it in mind we're going to be concise like this because we're always prepared, just that.
A little too prepared sometimes.
Yes. I like the conscious effort of keeping it down because sometimes I just find that I just start yelling about shit and 3 minutes later I'm still on the same subject. Shut up.
Ready to go?
Yep.
All right. For the first time since 2004, the Battle of Ontario is back in the playoffs. Who are the only 4 players to have played in every Battle of Ontario playoff matchups in the early 2000s? I think I know this.
I don't know. Who are the only players?
The 4 players who played in all 4 Battle of Ontario. So Matt Sundin,
Yeah.
Ty Domi,
Yeah. Alex, yeah.
Alfredson.
And Yashin?
No, not Yashin. And Chris
Yashin?
Phillips.
Yashin?
No, because he was traded.
He
He would have been gone by after the first or second one of these.
We're not. We're missing somebody. Who'd you say?
I got the 4: Sundin, Domi, Alfredson, Chris Phillips. I think that's it.
There's a defenseman on there going to be somewhere. Toronto.
Wait, hold. Oh wait, Caberlet too, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go.
So
Caberlet.
who's Sundin? I bet you it's not Sundin.
I bet it's not Sundin either because then he
was injured 2002
or whatever. So I'm going to go. What did you say?
Caberlet, Domi.
Yeah, and then I'll go
Phillips, Alfredson.
Okay, I'll go.
So
with
we're on
that.
the same.
Yeah. Caberlet. I knew it. Hey, this could be the Caberlet show.
Oh,
who do we miss? A defenseman, right?
No. So Alfredson, Domi were right. Sundin was right.
Okay.
And Marian Hossa.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I guess Chris Phillips and Caberlet missed a series then. Huh.
Who was it, the other Ottawa guy? Hossa. Should have thought about Hossa, but I thought it might be because, he would have been there. Then he went to Chicago.
Oh, then he went to Pittsburgh, then Detroit, then Chicago.
Yeah. How many cups did he end up getting?
3.
Yeah, right.
All in Chicago.
And he played so good against. He wasn't the reason that Ottawa lost.
No.
He was a pain in the ass for you guys. So Sundin did play in all of them?
Yeah, he did.
So it was Sundin, Domi.
Alfredson, Hossa.
Hossa. I thought Caberlet would have been in there. Maybe.
Yeah, it must have missed a series due to injury or something.
Could have been because he was in the same time. Another great trivia
Chris Phillips,
question,
another surprising one that he was missing there too.
I was too. As soon as I was thinking around, you said Chris Phillips. I went, yeah, okay. Yeah, that made sense to me. He seemed to be around in all those series anyway. But
number 1 overall pick?
Yes. He must have been in the 3 of the 4 then, right?
I'm thinking the same with Caberlet. Yeah.
Yeah, because they played 4 times, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
4 times in 5 years.
4 times, yeah. And Toronto won every one, right?
Yes, sir.
That was crazy.
Great childhood memories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet you they were, especially when you guys were like fierce underdogs at times. A couple times you were pretty big.
Well, we were only underdogs to Ottawa once.
Yeah, that one year. That was the year they were supposed to go on when they had Yashin. That was a Yashin year, right?
Yeah.
What a weird player he was. You know what? You know who's like him? Our bloody Laline guy.
Line.
Ooh. Yashin's a little better, though, I think, don't you?
Until he took the money in with New York.
Yeah, and found a supermodel. And then that was the end of that. But I think that up to that point, Yashin had a better career than Lanai, right?
Up to that point, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because he had a 100-point season, too, didn't he?
The dead puck era, I'm not so sure.
They came damn close.
Let's look that up quickly.
Because he was a good hockey player, but lazy. You know what I mean? And Laline looked like he was trying the other night. Finally. Like, I hope he plays in the playoffs. Like, he better freaking skate his ass off.
Okay, so he had a 94-point season in Ottawa.
A 94? Didn't quite get to 100, did he?
And, that was his highest ever.
Yeah. Because I know he had a big season like that. The one thing we got to say this, boys and girls, before we go, because this is so pertinent that I'm in North Etobicoke where they said it was the gestation foundation and the hatching of Leaf Nation is, please be nice to John Tavares and Mitch Marner so I don't have to hear it on the street, please. Come on.
Everyone will be nice.
I hope,
especially when the Leafs sweep Ottawa.
Well, that'll be a good thing because that's going to be the eternal question through the playoffs, and I think it's really weird. I can't say I'm not going to blame the media because they didn't have nothing to do with this. But you got to say you got two guys like that in this hockey market, which is absolutely rabid at times, to go through a whole season saying, forget the contract, we're going for the frickin' glory. And they're both going for it now, who've both had tremendous seasons, people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tavares especially, who's at that point in time where he stayed in good shape, and he's had a solid, it's one of his average years. That's
point per game, almost 40 goals. I'll take average any day of the week.
That's what I'm saying. How old is he now? 35?
Yeah.
So you got him, his average
all
season
these people that said that contract would age horribly.
Oh, no.
Including my buddy Marco. The whole 7 years he was chirping them. I wear my Tavares jersey proudly in front of him.
I would, you know what, if I had to wear any of those jerseys, that would be the one I'm wearing. I think you should be very, very proud of him. You better hope he takes the hometown discount because
he will.
You know, I don't
I'll be wearing my blue Tavares jersey for games 1 and 2 this week.
That's a good thing because
and then the white Matthews for the games in Ottawa.
So what's
got to match? You taught me that.
Yes, always match. Yes, always match. I do that. That's why I was out the other night. We went out for dinner that night for the Leafs game. I mean the Habs game.
You wore the white?
No, we were at home.
Oh, it was in Montreal. Okay,
I was in Montreal, yeah. So I was in red. I was in the red when I was out there. The scale said, how come you're wearing that one tonight? Protocol, dear. Protocol. You got to know protocol. That's what it is. That's pretty cool that we do that. But the guy that I'm thinking about is, the biggest wild card is, I really hope things go good for you guys because Marner, what are you going to do with him? We got lots to talk about. We'll extend the show any further.
It's going to be a long playoffs.
What's that?
Long playoffs.
It will be a long playoffs, but he's had such a sensational year on both ends of the puck. Think he's going to get any Selke nod?
I think there's a good chance.
I think he scored too much.
I don't know about that. I don't buy that.
Has there ever been a 100-point Selke winner?
This could be the first one. I mean, let's be real. Barkov's probably still going to win the award, but come on, let's get Marner a finalist here. Come on.
Definitely.
He's done it before.
And you know what? If it wasn't for the injury factor, a lot of people around the league said Matthews should get consideration.
Yes, agreed.
Like, I mean, a guy on a scale, he should be getting some consideration. Some people said Eichel. When you look at his two-way game now, the way that he's gone, like there's some big scoring guys or guys that you put over here as scorers, you forget about their defensive acumen.
Actually, well, that too. Let me think. When he won one of those Selkies, didn't he score 100 points?
I don't think so. I think he had a 90-point year. Check it out.
Oh, my God. Okay, we're splitting hairs here then.
Yeah, well, Marner was nominated when he had 90 points.
Yeah.
So, but I want the 100-point guy in there. Wouldn't it be a good new precedent for the people that would say, hey, look at that? Oh, yeah.
Okay. He won it with a 97-point season. So
okay,
and Marner got to 101, 102.
Yep.
Why can't he win it?
Okay, that's what I'm saying too. But you know the thing is, it's a 100-point score. Just like Matthews is not a 70-goal scorer.
Oh yeah. So big shout out to Marner. He is the 4th player to do it in Maple Leaf history.
Can we name the other 3? Let me see if I can. Doug Gilmour.
Yes, sir.
Daryl Sittler.
Yes, sir.
Did Sundin get one too?
No.
Never got 90-point seasons, right? Daryl Sittler. Vive never got one.
No, it's the last guy's right under your nose.
Matthews.
Yes, sir. Did it twice.
Yes, I did it twice. What am I thinking? Matthews. Of course. Why? Because when I was thinking of back in the day, you started thinking about back in the day. Yeah, and he's already done it twice. And there's nobody on the Leafs that ever did it 3 times, is there?
That's right. So Matthews next year could be the first guy to do it 3 times.
Because only Dougie did it twice. Sittler only did it twice,
right?
Yeah. Sittler twice, Dougie twice.
Marner once now.
And Marner once now. That's to be in good company there. So anyways, we're looking forward to the playoffs. We're going to try to keep you as informed as we possibly can. Is that the word to do it?
Yes, sir. What game are you looking forward to most this week?
What do you think?
Montreal-Washington, game
First
1?
game. Yeah, I'll be nerves.
I'll be Ottawa-Toronto, game 1.
I'll be nerves. I'm really looking forward to the other game I'm looking forward to in a weird way is the first Memphis OKC playoff game.
Okay.
Just what to see because Memphis had such a battle against Golden State in the play-in game. It's just that a guy like Brandon Clark would have made the difference. And then they came out. There was no Dallas, get out of our way. Get out of our way. So that makes you fodder. I can't see them being OKC, but I can see John Morant and Bane just going for it. So I'm looking forward to see how that plays out.
Yes. Happy Easter, happy Passover for all of our Jewish friends listening.
Yes, for both of you all, because faith is good for your soul. Everybody, yes, Passover and Easter.
And get out and vote, people. Get out
Yes,
and
we
vote.
still got a week away to go.
Well,
We'll be running
advance
next week,
polls
but-
are open.
Yes, they are. Yes, please,
Less
everybody.
Less of a line.
Yes, and no,
I'll bang that
everybody.
drum every day.
You know what? When we're not really going down that road all the time, but noticing the significance of the future of our country, be part of it. And the way to be part of that is to vote. That's simple, right?
That's
Okay. And what else do we do? My name is Cruz.
And my name is Andrew Milani.
And what do?
We keep the vibe alive. Do you have a question? We'll answer it on the air. Send it to thehousethathappens@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay, and SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and on X at House Happens.